Ladies and gentlemen, boys and MBs, I hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for tuning in and welcome to this live stream. How we doing? How we doing? I hope you're all doing well. My name's Mikey. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Hellstormwargaming. This is the morning news. I hope everyone's doing good. What's going on? What's going on, gamers? Hello, hello, hello. Look at you all. Look at you all. Hi, how are we doing? How are we doing? Thank God it's Wednesday. True. I get to hang out with you guys the next 2 hours or so. Maybe 3, sometimes 4. What a wonderful day it is. It's really showing to see that Mikey's late. The world is functioning as normal. Thanks, mate. Appreciate you. Good to be back. Good to be back. Colour Theft. Hello, how are we? How are we? Shadowing the WAP. How's it going? How you doing? Kayari, good morning. Wartsmith Jimmy. Hello, matey. Hope you're doing well. I'll have my Space Marine muscle mummies. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We all want Space Marine muscle mummies. So welcome in, welcome in. I think my cats are destroying stuff. Inky! Yeah, I just heard him scarper. I heard him destroy something, and then I heard him scarper when I called his name. So, hello everyone, how are we doing? Welcome in, my name's Mikey. We're going to talk about a couple of things today. I'll be honest, I won't lie to you, I'll be upfront, I won't lie, because, you know, I like to be transparent, I don't like to bullshit you. I was struggling for things to talk about today, because we've had some real juice the past few days. We've had some extreme juice the past few days, you know. And just like the shareholder that I'm not, I was trying to make profits keep going up. But I think we've got to accept that we were not always going to get a trademark war and then a copyright war back to back. You know what I mean? That's just not a normal week. That's not a normal week. Hashtag war boot. So we're going to talk about 40k today. We're going to talk about games design because there's been a lot more discussion about... It's time for you to start your own drama. Oh, yeah, shit. Fucking... You know I hate... You know I hate white people. That was a joke, chat, because I'm white. Yeah, so there's not like some real fucking juice or gossip today. So I thought we could take a look at the conversation around alternate activation. That's what people seem to be desperate for it. And I personally don't think it'll work whatsoever. I just don't think alternate activations will work whatsoever. But there's a video about it from Sam Pearson, SPGD, who is obviously XGW game designer. And they put a 40-minute video out, so I thought we could look at that this morning. Mikey activating the sock puppet account just to stir shit. Let me get my bots on the check, you know what I mean? Let's get my bots in check. Let's go. But yeah, I just like, it's just one of those things. I was talking to Georgie last night. I was talking to Parasocial. Shout out to the Parasocial gang. Appreciate you. I was like, I don't know what to fucking talk about because we've had such good video ideas. Or not even ideas. Good video topics to cover. And like, now there's like... there's not a great deal because it's just died down again because it's Warhammer. It's a very niche, and then when we get crazy shit, it seems to be like crazy, and then dead for 2 weeks, you know. So we're in our dead for 2 weeks. I think there's gonna be no drama for like the next 2 weeks, and then like after that, when I go away, that's when all the drama will kick off. So yeah, so I thought we'd have a look. There's like quite a long Reddit thread about it, even though I hate Warhammer Competitive. I think it's the worst subreddit, or it has the worst community on the planet. There's some interesting conversations about it, so I thought we'd look at that and then look at the video. And then there's one about AI. He lost his mind using ChatGPT. That interested me. Have you considered hearing rumors through the warp for your videos? Yeah, I'll just keep making shit up, and then eventually I'll be right, and then I can shout vindication. Is that how it works? If I just keep making shit up, and then I shout, and then eventually I'm right, vindication. You know? Blood Angels Terminators are no longer for sale at Games Workshop, so that means they're making Blood Angels Terminators, not the fact that they're just making new plastic ones that are on release sometime soon, along with Marnia's Calgar, that will no doubtedly have a Blood Angel transfer in the transfer sheet that already has a Blood Angel upgrade sprue in the upgrade sprue. So that means they're making new Blood Angel Terminators. I don't know why I opened my mouth for that. Bam, bam, bam. You know? Look, I keep an eye. I just like, you know, all the love to him. Love him, think he's a great person, think he's really nice. But just some of the dog shit. Some of the dog shit, bro. Come on now. Come on now, dude. 40,000 views or something for that? Fuck, I just don't know why why didn't I do that? Why do I like try to be like profound all the time? Like, what am I playing at, bro? Why do I have to try and be profound all the time when I can just talk shit and then get 40,000 views or something? I'm struggling with lighting today, chat. Can you tell? I don't want it at my face. Skill issue. Thanks, mate. Christmas box Taylor. I started. You know what? Actually, chat. Some of you in this chat, I've got a problem with you. I've got a real problem with you in chat because I was talking about the Christmas boxes on stream. Okay, I already talked about them on stream, and then I was doing like a price breakdown. Okay, right, and then someone was like, "Is this an Allspec Tactics live stream video?" Because people kept talking about Allspec Tactics doing price breakdowns, right? I thought I could do this first and get some views and get a video out on the second channel, get it out today, maybe tomorrow, talk about the Christmas boxes. But no, Allspecs has already done it. That's why everyone's talking about him. Turns out, no, he's not. He only did a video like 2 days ago. I was talking about it over a week ago. So I lost out on a video because I was just shouting about Allspecs Tactics for 30 minutes rather than actually talking about the Christmas boxes. So whoever you were who was talking about Allspecs Tactics when I was talking about the Christmas boxes, become a member right now because I've lost a video because of you. You know? I'm not naming any names. You got to own up to it. What's going on with my hair today? Chat, am I balding? Chat, I'm going bald again. I'm going bald again. It's all gone shit. See, my hair's bad. I've lost the video. God, the drama is in this chat, bro. The drama's in this chat. What have you done to me? You made me lose a video, and now I can't get my hair to sit right, so it looks awful. It was the entirety of chat. Well, guess what? The entirety of chat should be gifted. It was me, and I got gifted membership. Okay. Well, chat. Fingers crossed. Looks like a bad comb over. Do not start on me right now. Chat. Fingers crossed, all being well, I'm going to be doing a member giveaway soon. A big one. I'm going to be giving away the Terminator box. The Crux Terminators box. Remember it? Remember what it looks like? And we're giving away this box to members only. But there will be a catch. There will be a catch. Gifted members won't be included. Gifted members won't be included. If you are a gifted tier, you won't be included. Okay? Because what happens is people get excited and start gifting memberships, and then they ruin their chances for winning. So if you are a gifted member, if you are like gifted tier, because it's called gifted tier, you will have to gift to enter. Okay, so when I've confirmed I've got some, when I know when it's on sale, which I think is probably soon, I'm going to take 100 and say it's Sunday, because like the announce it's going up. I'll be giving away one of these, but you'll have to be non-gifted to win. You know, because what happens is people get excited and then gift 10. And then they support the channel and then ruin their chances to win. And it goes to someone who's just gifted. And people get annoyed for the big stuff. So the big stuff, I'm going to do it where if you are a gifted tier, you'd have to gift to enter. You know? What about people who can't afford the hobby let alone subs to a channel? It's £1.99 to become a member. It's not expensive. So yeah, as soon as I know I've got one coming, that's when I'll announce the giveaway. So I've also got a goated stream idea. Because I know a lot of you don't care about it, but I do. I have the... Right, I give up. I have I play Gundam TCG. Okay. If I win it, could I give it to Magoo? Yeah, but you have to gift to do that. The Gundam TCG I play quite a lot, and there's a new set next week, okay? I have booster boxes coming. I have whole ass booster boxes, like with loads of packs in. So I thought a fun stream idea, because chat, the thing is with Gundam, like Magic the Gathering, like Pokemon and stuff, there's cards in there that I really want, okay? There's cards in there I really want. And I want to open them on stream because I want to share that with you. However, I don't think just me opening packs for a game that only a small amount of my community actually cares about is interesting. So I thought I'd make it interesting, okay? There are some cards in there, in those packs, that I really, really want, okay? And they are not common, they're quite rare. They're not just like rare as in, oh, there's one in every box. There's one of these cards, there's two, okay? There's two cards I want. One of these cards in every 2 cases, okay? A case being 12 boxes. I've got 2 boxes coming. So there's one of these cards every 12 cases. They're worth about £1,000 each, okay? Just to set the stakes. If I can just show you, they are worth quite a lot of money, okay? Because they come in 1 in every 2 boxes. I'm trying to find them. Those were revealed the other day. Why is it not coming up? I definitely sent it in a group chat. Let me see if I can find it. I'll just be a quick second because I saw them the other day. There they are. So there's like 2 cards that I really, really, really want, okay? And they're worth quite a lot of money, okay? And they're called LR++, right? So LR is Legendary Rare, ++ means it's Alternate Art Mega. There's LR, Legendary Rare, LR+, Legendary Rare Alternate Art, and then Legendary Rare ++, which is the really extremely rare one, okay? That is only like one in 1,000 pounds worth of like fucking stupid. It's just stupid hard to find, basically. They're worth so much because you can't find them anywhere. This is the one I really want, okay? Look at it. Isn't it glorious? And then this is the one I kind of really want because it's really cool, I thought. The chat, I can't afford the boxes, so I'm doing a bit of a gamble, okay? I'm doing a bit of a gamble because this is the one I really want. This is the card, the chase card, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to open packs on stream, and to make it interesting, if you donate members, I'll cut the pack open with scissors, and I'll cut the pack in half. Not open, sorry. I will cut the pack in half if you donate members. So you have the chance of cutting in half the card I want. So I thought that'd be fun because it comes out next Friday. So next Friday stream is going to be opening packs looking for this card. But to fuck with me, if you send in members like that with a big pack of scissors, big scissors cut straight in half. This is the card I want, and I don't know where it'll be. I don't even know if I'll have one in the box. But you could by sending some members. So I thought that might be quite fun to do. And what might also be fun is Sass, thank you for remembering for 20 months. Tax deductible Gunpla cards. I mean, yes, technically.
Sauce W celebrates 20 months of membership. Tax deductible.
Thank you for the 20 months. Yes, tax deductible, but also funny game for you at home. You send in. Okay. So that's the plan. That's the plan next Friday. As long as the boxes come in. I'll have 2, which will give us about 70 packs, I think. Once I've opened the first box, the second box will go through pretty quickly. But I thought it'd be fun if you guys can get involved. And like this card, this is obviously the most expensive card in there. But there's like cards that are worth like 300, 200 quid and stuff like that. I'm gonna get my big scissors from work, from Outpost, from my studio. Especially my Outpost, by the way, really cool company. But I've got some like massive industrial scissors that I was using to like cut carpet and stuff. Our Gundam TCG boxes are sold distribution like Pokemon cards. Asking for a friend. No, they're not actually, which is obviously surprising. The chances of you getting one of these is 1 in 2 cases, but like not guaranteed. Get involved in Mikey's new hobby. Yeah, literally. So I thought that'd be a bit fun where we can open packs and we can have a good laugh and we can look at some pretty cards. We can get excited, but also you guys can get involved. You don't have to just watch, you know? You'd have to be like in the cook chair. You'd have to be like in the whatnot cook chair. Just watch me open packs. You can send in money for me to cut it wide open. So that's the plan. And then obviously the people that will be gifting for that stream will also be entered into the Crux Terminatus giveaway. If you do end up cutting one, he's framing on the wall. It'll probably be the most famous Gundam LR++, because the fact, ironically, it'll probably become the most famous one because I cut it in half live on a stream. These kinds of brutches, if I want to pay to screw you over, I think you must misunderstand the majority of my chat. I think you must understand the energy of this chat, that people love to screw me over. People love to hate, so I'm giving you an option. It's just, you'll cut open my pack, I'll get the money. But you'll cut open my pack, and it could be anything from a £3 rare to like a £700, £800, £1,000 card. That seems pretty fun. I would donate to that. Anyway, I need to sell the majority of my Discord that's gone live. Big. Matt, thank you for becoming a member, dude. I really appreciate you. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Member. Big stream today. Don't miss this talking point. I have no plans. I think that's honest. Can I get the top half of one of the cards from membership? Sure thing. I bet if you did cut through one of those cards, I bet you'll sellotape it together so you can put it in a sleeve. I mean, the value would be pretty low. The thing is with that card, those cards, obviously the thing is with the LR++s are alternate art. So there are the same functional card in there that are not worth that much. But it's you want it because it's rare and it's cool and it's shiny, you know? Did you order the Gundam TCG boxes from the Outpost using the affiliate 159? I would love to say yes, I did. !Outpost in chat. They will sell Gundam TCG one day. They will sell Gundam TCG one day, but when they do, you'll be ready. !Outpost in chat for all your hobby needs at 15 to 20% off. Very cool, very epic. Thanks Outpost for supporting the stream, supporting the channel. Also, chat, I'm going to a tournament next week, so they won't. The fact that we're doing booster packs on the Friday is going to be good or bad because I'm going to a tournament next week, so I might be really sad the next day. But I'm going to the last of the Summer Wine Hammer. You might be remembering me talking about it. And I was thinking of taking the new. I got really sad actually. Chat, when's rules cut off for tournaments these days? I wanted to take the new because I've been playing. And let me slow down. I've got like 7 different points I want to talk about in this topic one in particular. I'm going to a tournament, okay? I want to win the tournament, okay? 1, because I've not won a tournament this year. And 2, I put it as the free space in bingo, all right? So my motives to win are 1, I've not won a tournament this year, which, you know, a bit sad, but fair enough. Maybe I'm big-headed, thinking I'll win a tournament this year. I should win a tournament this year. I would like to win a tournament this year because I think, you know, a lot of people like to say my opinion's wrong and then I go, look at all my trophies, shut the fuck up. But I'm going to a tournament next weekend, and I was gonna use the new White Scars detachment. You know, I wanted to use the new White Scars detachment, but with Ultramarines, because as it stands, the Spear Point Task Force or whatever, the new White Scars detachment, doesn't have the White Scar restriction. That's the one that Games Workshop sent me, because they actually sent me some rules. They didn't send me the points for it, but sometimes they send me points and no rules. Sometimes they send me rules and no points. It's very exciting. Keeps me on my toes, that's for sure. So I was like, I could use that new detachment because it just seems cracked. Being able to fall back, shoot, and charge for 1 TP. Because you can fall back and charge anyway, but the fall back and shoot is crazy, especially for like the problem I have with the army, because it's like Innis's White Scars, is Innis's Ultramarines that he played at LGT. I've been playing a very similar build to that like all year, not all year, like the past 6 months or so. Yeah, the problem is the Storm Raven is really good, and then people tag it, and then I can't do anything with it, and I'm just kind of like shooting in combat and hoping I don't get killed in combat, and sometimes I need to fall back because something's quite scary and I don't want to die. Yeah, so I was going to take the new one, but then I was like, what if it has this white... Do you think it'll get this White Scars restriction like the other ones have? If you don't know what I'm referring to, if you go to Warhammer Community and download a 400-page document to look at one line of text. Where has it gone? Where are you? There we are. So like in the Space Marine faction pack, for example, 180-page document now. Huh. Well, interestingly, the Salamanders doesn't have it. The Salamanders detachment doesn't have this restriction. But the Imperial Fist one does. You know? The Wrath of Dawn detachment, the Emperor's Shield detachment, has this restriction. It says army can include Imperial Fist, but it can include any Adepts Astartes units drawn from any other chapter. I thought they all had a restriction, but Vulcan's doesn't. I don't think you're actually locked to the faction now. You don't gain extra bonus if you're not. That's the thing, right? It's like this one has that restriction. You get this, you know, if you have Lysander, but it has this restriction if you can't take... Let's say you can't take Gulliman in Emperor's Shield because of this restriction. But you could take Gulliman in Forge Father Seekers because it doesn't have the restriction. Do the other ones have it? See, Shadowmark Talon is exclusively Raven Guard. So you can't use Gulliman in that one. And then that's it. There's only 3. But the 2 new ones, the White Scars one and the Iron Hands one, as it stands, doesn't have the restriction. Does Vulcan have the Salamander's keyword? Yeah. It does technically have restrictions though, because it requires Vulcan, and you can't run Vulcan in other armies. Only for one of the abilities, not for all of it. Yeah, he has Salamanders. Yeah, you still get this, but also this is the same. This is the same as the other detachment that it's kind of copied from. But the other 2, the White Scars and the Iron Hands one, are also kind of copies. So this one doesn't have a restriction. The 2 newer ones do. I think maybe that I don't remember what order they came out. So then I'm like, are the other ones gonna have a restriction or not? I'm really confused, you know? Mistype or something, I assume. It's a pretty big mistype to miss an entire like paragraph. Like this, you know? I feel like you're setting yourself up for disappointment when they fix it. I'm just really confused. I'm like, are they gonna... Because at first I was like, oh, they don't have it. You know? So they'll probably add it. But then I was like, well, why wouldn't they have it on both of them? That's really strange. But then, now I'm just looking now at the old 180-page faction pack. Those two have it. Which, surely it's a copy-paste from, because it's obviously all the same setting, you know what I mean? Like, the same... Do the core rules not, for Space Marines, not prevent multiple chapter units? You're not taking multiple chapter units. So the thing is with it is, Shadowmark Talon, okay? Just to, like, explain it, hopefully a little bit simpler. Shadowmark Talon, detachment, okay? You get this ability, alright? You get this ability, the stealth ability, essentially. And then if you have Atheon Shan, you get this ability on hit as well. However, you can include Raven Guard units, but you can't include other chapters. So in this Raven Guard S detachment, Shadowmark Talon specifically, you couldn't run it, let's say, with Gulliman or Marnie's Calgar, you know. You couldn't run multiple... You can't run multiple chapters. You can't run Raven Guard and Ultramarines together, like the special characters. But like this detachment specifically says you can only run Raven Guard units, nothing else. Okay. Now, the Forge Father Seekers, okay, you get this buff. Okay. If your army includes Vulcan, Infernus squads get this buff. Just like Athon Shan gets the free strat. However, there's no restriction here. So whilst if I ran this with Gulliman, I wouldn't get this because I can't run Vulcan. I would still get this, Vulcan's Quest. I would have all of these enhancements, and I would have all these strats. You know? So it's like this one doesn't have that restriction, but it gets a buff if you get Vulcan. Whereas Emperor's Shield and Atheon and the Shadowmark one both have the... You get this... And you get this if you have Darnath, but you can't run any other chapter. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because the new detachment, the Storm Point Task Force, the White Scars themed one, okay. Popcorn, thank you for the 45 months. Appreciate you. Thank you for the 45 months. That's so long, dude. That's so long.
Popcorn Scorpion celebrates 45 months of membership. Not GW missing a fundamental bit of text? Surely not.
Surely not indeed. No, so thank you for the 45 months. I really appreciate it. It could be just a fuck up. But if it's not, it's interesting. Because the Spear Point Task Force, which is the new White Scars one, doesn't have the restriction of only run White Scars. Now, the detachment rules are the same. You get a buff if you run Sabodin Khan, which I wouldn't be. But... the strats, like the enhancements, fine, whatever, slightly better, but the stratagems are better. So if they don't add a restriction, they essentially say, they are essentially saying that it's like, here's another Stormlands task force with better stratagems, you know. So if it doesn't have a chapter restriction, I could take my current Stormlands Task Force army and run it as Spear Point Task Force, which is essentially the same detachment, but the strats are slightly better. You know? That's where I'm kind of at. And then I remembered the rules technically aren't out yet, and I doubt I'll be able to run them next week anyway, because it'll probably be too soon. So the idea of running Spear Point, or whatever they call it, at a tournament is probably a dumb idea anyway. Vulcan's Quest Templars, grab a load of Execrators and Crusade Squads, have Strength 5 bolt pistols with Assault and Charge. Yeah, definitely. Now, the thing is, with these detachments, the stratagems are mostly pointed to running the stuff that it's kind of pointing you to. Like the Vulcan one is trying to push you to run Infernus Squads, and Infernus Squads are better if you run Vulcan. But Gulliman's a drug, bro. Gulliman and Calgar are a drug. Oh, get it in my veins. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, Because, like, I'm not going to bring up my PDFs because I'm not allowed to show them. But I can show you my video I made. Because that's not been told off, so I'm sure that's fine. Maybe with this new detachment, because, like, where is it? It's at the beginning. Also, I don't know what happened here. There's supposed to be a data sheet there. So I just didn't, and I ended up at least showing off half of this for some reason. Yeah, because you get this if you run Saboden, but like the fallback and charge, this is just pretty good. You don't get reroll charges, but you can have lance or lethal, which is just a great rule, to be honest. I thought it was self-censorship. I think there's like a rendering issue, and I just didn't check. But it's this one. This strat is nuts. 1 CP, fall back and shoot and charge, which just isn't available in the other detachment. It looks like the instruction is built into the app and not in the PDF. Oh yeah, Forge Father's Seekers has it in the app. Okay. Huh. Oh look, the faction packs are just wrong. Oh look, the faction packs are just wrong. Look at that. I'm just tired, boss. Oh, I'm tired, boss. Never mind, chat. I think that's answered that question. Chat, I think that's answered our question. It isn't here. It isn't there. But it is there. Like, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck is this? Faction packs are awful. I need to hurry up and make a video before I have a video about it. The faction packs are actually awful. The GSC faction packs rule doesn't exist. Well, yeah, but it's in the balanced data slate. We covered that as well. Never mind. Never mind. But yeah, I don't know what happened with the render. I don't know why it just came up black. But I have the full data sheet. I remade it. I remade it for the video. So, fuck knows what happened. But then I uploaded it and didn't check, which is the worst thing I could have ever done. Always watch a video. If you're a video editor, chat, always watch a video afterwards. Which is more official, though? 100% the app. The app is way more important. Like, way more as a... It is more official than the faction packs, ironically. They're both official, don't get me wrong, but, like... The app is way more credible. Do we think GW classing these specialist chapter detachments as 3 new detachments for the quarter or whatever they were doing? Yeah, probably. Because they just haven't done fucking shit with it, have they? Yeah, well, what's going on with these faction packs? Why are they so fucked? Funniest part about the app and being more credible is unlike the faction packs, you can't check legends in it. Was the system so bad before they released these faction packs? Was it actually that bad? No, I don't think it was. Anyway, so my idea of running White Scar, the new detachment as with G-Man, is probably like silly now. it's probably not going to happen, let's be honest. I think it's just consolidated all of the errors into one easy to spot place. Yeah. Where's the restriction for salamanders? Is it just not available whatsoever? Is it in the balanced data slate or something? I don't think it is. Every day it's like I would check the entire thing and see if the theories can't guide if they have a marker like drone is removed. They have now given it for the greater good rule, but still can't guide according to FAQ. For fuck's sake. If I live close to your HQ, I'd genuinely be happy to get a job there, even to be a fucking proofreader. I do rules design, but fuck me, they're bad at reading. I just think I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think it's just mismanagement. You know what I mean? It's clearly a management of the rules issue. You know, it's like they have weird systems, and I honestly think ever since they did that fucking quiz, not quiz. What do you call it when you ask loads of people loads of questions to get information from them? Survey. There we go. Found it. The thing is with it is every time they do a survey, people are like, the rules update change. Their rules change so much. But then they're trying to like cater to both, and it's not working. They don't update the rules enough to keep it up to date, to keep it on the ball. But they update the rules too fast. You know? Also, hi Heather. I hope you're enjoying my long conversation about Warhammer rules. Excuse me? What are you doing? So I have like a piece of foam, right, that I use. Like this is like one of them 4 tile things. Okay. And I use it to airbrush on, so I don't get it all over my mat. And as you can see, there's I don't have spiky teeth, but Inky does. And as you can see on every section all the way around, there are teeth marks in it. Every time I turn around, I just hear a squeak. And it says teeth rubbing against it. Hey, Inkster, you gonna come say hi? Are you gonna come say hi? I've just put it there. I've literally just put it back, chat. He's already nicked it. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oi. Inky. He's locked in, bro. Bro, he's so locked in. Oi. You can't hear the fucking teeth squeak on it. There you go, gone. Gone. There's one by the door that they play with all the time. Come here. Come here. The chat wants to say hi to you. Is that okay? May I pick you up? Would that be allowed? No, he's not bothered. He's not bothered. He's off. I'll jump mic up to it. It wouldn't reach. It wouldn't reach. Cardboard or anything rubby or spongy? Yeah, they love fucking. He fucking loves cardboard. He fucking loves eating cardboard. Come here. The chat wants to say hi. Will you come up? I'm not going to force him. There's too many, like, controversies with streamers and animals at the minute. You can't see it because my... You see him just munching away. Excuse me. You see his head. This is not what I'd rather this than wired yet. Come here. Come here. Nah, he's in the zone, bro. He's in the zone. He does not give two shits about anything other than foam. Probably helps you clean their teeth, to be fair. They don't have molars, so we can nice texture. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if he's not managed to rip a chunk off yet, and that's what I'm concerned about. He's just ran off with a huge bit. I'm trying. I like to keep an eye on him when he does it. I'm not bothered. I don't care. He can do what he wants. You know what I mean? His entire world is in this house. I'm not gonna like withhold anything that's not really gonna hurt him. It's just if he rips a chunk off, I don't like swallowing it. But yeah, cardboard they fucking love. I got a package this morning. He was already chewing on it before I opened it. I was like, bro, come on now. Bro, let me open it first. The barrels of cat dadhood. Yeah, literally. So, yeah, I don't, like, fucking, he can do what he wants, you know what I mean? He lives in these four walls and he can't get out unless I allow it. So I'm going to let him do whatever he wants. You know what I mean? I think that's a fair trade. It's like, you live in this house and I'll feed you, okay? You live with me. You don't go outside, okay? You live with me. I'll feed you. I'll change your litter. In return, you can do whatever the fuck you want here. And I get a little stroke sometimes, maybe. If you would allow it. Buy cat towel, play in the box. Yeah. We have been collecting toilet rolls, okay? Not for fun, but I'll show you a video of cat. You want to see a cat video, chat? Do you want to see some cat video? I made them a... What do you call it? Oh, God, I'm struggling with words because I'm trying to scroll up for the video. Oh, have I got rid of it? I can't find the video now. Oh, no, I have it here. I made them a box full of toilet rolls, right, chopped up, right? And then it's treats in the box. You know? So that he's digging for the treats. It's just toilet rolls chopped up. That's what I give them they'll have their breakfast at like 8 or 8, half 8 or whatever. And then around 10, they'll have treat box time. Look how he digs in the cardboard. Look how chewed up the cardboard boxes are on the edge. Can you see? Cats are all the same. Clyde hadn't figured out how to do it yet. So yeah, chat. If you got cats, you want a fun little game for them? Cardboard box and some chopped up toilet rolls. They love it because the thing is with it is the toilet roll catches the treat, but then they don't have thumbs because you know. If they had I said to Georgia, I said to this wife, do you think Inky would be so much more annoying if he had opposable thumbs? Because he was grabbing something this morning. But I was like, yeah, you put the toilet roll hold the treat so he can see it, but then when he goes for it, because he's got no thumbs, it falls and they don't dig for it. You know what I mean? You know? Great time out by all. The other one we got them was a baby water pad. You know, like one of them like it's like inflatable, but it has like water in it, and it's got like floating things, and it's supposed to be like sensory toys or whatever. I don't know if I still have that. I don't know if I still have it. But yeah, we got them like a fucking... It's essentially like an inflatable waterbed thing for babies that has like floating things inside, and the babies are supposed to like press on it and they're supposed to learn about the world. I gave it to my cats and Inky bit a hole in it within about 3 seconds and drank the water from it. I don't know if I still have it though. What's this? Oh, that's a party hat. I can't find it. You get the idea though. Baby toys are great for cats. That's true. What's been added? Please say Space Gaven. Thanks to Evan. Nothing's been added. It's what people want to be added. I'll go onto it now, though, because I said I was going to go onto it. However, chat, the thing is with it is this is a conversation that keeps coming up over and over again in 40k. You know? People keep wanting this in 40k, and I don't get how they want it to work. And the idea is changing I go, you go to alternate activations. So it's like the I go, you go in turn order is essentially I have my turn, then you have your turn. It's what we have in 40k now. I move all my units and do their things, then I stop and you have a turn. I know I've missed cat chat, but our indoor cats have harnesses that we take them in the garden with. They love it. So we wanted to do that, but we've just never, but we kind of got like, we didn't want to do it when they were kittens, and now we're like, oh god, are they too old to like learn how to use a harness? But we did want to kind of do that. But then I also saw a video like of like a pet professional, but it was on TikTok, sorry. A pet professional, in quotes, said that it's harmful for cats to put them in harnesses. So then I was like, but don't want to be harmful. Don't want to be doing that. Sorry, completely off tangent again, but there we go. So yeah, so the idea that people want, some people, quite a lot of people, I would say, want the alternate activation in 40k, whereas rather than having all of my turn and all of your turn, to having alternate activations where I activate a unit, then you activate a unit, you know? So it seems like it seems to be like a hot topic, and just to get my personal opinion out the way, I think it wouldn't work at all. I don't think it would work. I don't think it would work whatsoever, because like the example I always use is like, okay, I'm gonna take a turn. I'm gonna activate my scout squad, my 5 dudes with shotguns and a sword. You know, 5 superhumans, but humans. 5 dudes with some shotguns, and like one of them's got a chainsaw and a pistol. Hell yeah, dude. And then my opponent is going to activate the Imperial Knight, which is a war machine that has guns that can take down multiple large targets a turn. And then I get to activate my second unit of scouts, and then they get to activate their Imperial Knight too, you know? So I personally just don't feel like there's a system in the game that we have today that it would work, you know? Even if you changed how the rules worked, you like balanced it around the fact that you have alternate activations, I personally don't think it'll work whatsoever. But people seem to really want it, you know? They complain about people injecting their woke politics into Warhammer, like having female representation and multicultural representation, but then they want to inject their terrible game designs into my game. You know what I mean? It kind of goes both ways. You need some sort of initiative system. Yeah, and that's why I think it just gets overly complex. When they've been trying to get the game simpler, they're trying to like, then you'd like, oh, we're gonna have alternate activations, we're gonna have like a new system to manage it. It's like, people don't understand how Warhammer works today, that it's just like move your models, shoot them, charge them, you know? It works for skirmish games, yeah, because like the power level of each individual unit, which is a model, is very like the scale of difference is not like huge. Like a unit of scouts compared to an Imperial Knight is very different to like a guy versus a bigger guy, you know? There should be more interactivity. Reactions in Heresy is an idea. Not saying it should be that, but that's the idea. Yeah, I think reactions are really cool. You know, I think in 40k they kind of tested them out, and then every other game's just done it better since. I think reactions in Age of Sigmar are a lot better. I think reactions in Heresy are pretty good. But like, you'll notice that a lot of the best detachments in armies, in my opinion, is the ones with lots of reactions. You know, if it's a -1 to hit, if it's a reactive move and stuff like that, you know. There's a reason that every Space Marine army has the combi lieutenant with the lieutenant with combi weapon. It's because he has a built-in reactive move. He's the best unit. Can someone quickly summarize reactions? So reactions in Warhammer or in any game really is like you do a thing and then my opponent has a chance to respond to that. Whether that's using a stratagem such as Overwatch, if you play 40k. Overwatch is a reaction. You finish a move, I get to shoot you, albeit hitting on sixes. It's being able to move. For example, a reactive move, like you end, again in 40k, you end within 9 inches of my unit, I can move 6 or d6 inches, depending what the rule is. But other games have reactions such as you shot me, I shoot back. You know, you shot me, so I get to move before you shoot, etc. There's like, so like that's the idea of like reactions, is like when your opponent does or declares something, you have a chance to do something about it rather than just rolling saves during your opponent's turn. So I think reactions are really good. They're really fun. They keep the game very intense, which is good and bad because it keeps your brain in it for a lot longer. But the game's already too long. But I just don't think it'll work in 40k, but it's kind of been brought up in Warhammer Competitive. Any chance they move to move away from I Go, You Go in 11th edition, even if only to some kind of hybrid system? Oddly, for such a gigantic change, it seems relatively easy. It doesn't invalidate the current data sheets like the War Gear change did, except for potentially the quite rare out-of-turn, rare odd out-of-turn movement abilities, maybe such as reactiveness, might not be needed. So, one, I don't think War Gear changes change the data sheets loads, but whatever. But like, yeah, so they like people like calling for it in 11th, like 181 upvotes. People want this in 11th edition, you know. Are those built into units in 30k? Some specific units have better reactions than others, or specific factions have better reactions than others, but they're part of the core game, you know. Like shoot back is part of the core game. You shoot, I have a reaction point, essentially command points, to do core stratagems, which is reactive move, reactive shoot, reactive charge.
Mikey! Super chat £3.74. I think
Thank
what
you.
You are vocal about depends on what you love about the hobby. I like the lore, so I'm not big on any of the pandery stuff.
The pandery stuff? There's pandas in the lore? I love pandas. Thanks for the 5, appreciate it. They think pandas are cute. Thanks for the 5. I don't know what you're referring to there. So I thought we could have a look at this video. Again, it says by Sam. We like Sam. He's a good content creator, clearly, and he's obviously a very knowledgeable guy. But like, yeah, I think the idea of alternate activations in 40k wouldn't work unless there was like a weird system for it. Mists of Pandaria was bad though. What's Mists of Pandaria? Is that WoW? I feel like I recognize that. Yeah, it's WoW, isn't it? Chat, I've never played WoW. Am I an unk? Or am I not unk for not playing it? I would love to say I never played WoW due to I hated the game or I thought the game was cringe, but it's actually just because I couldn't afford the membership because I was poor. You know? Never played WoW because the idea of paying £5 a month for the membership was like just like unachievable as a 11, 12-year-old. Go play WoW. No, I shan't. My only experience with WoW is one time I went to my friend's house. He was playing it. Don't really remember much about it. My another friend showed me a mount he had. A flying thing. Or that episode of South Park. That's my only experience with WoW. WoW was goated 20 years ago. Okay, yeah. So my unkie isn't showing because I never played it. Nice. I did play RuneScape though. Anyway, you can send an image / explanation for where I think it could possibly work for 40k. Yeah, in the Discord, Discord, you can post in latest video chat if you want. If you ever want to like post a video or post a link or post explanation, post it in latest video chat because obviously this is my latest video. I'm live, so you can chat there, and I can see you can like post images and stuff. And also, if there's anything you ever want me to talk on stream when I'm not live, you can post in open on stream. We can. We've talked about all of these on stream already, so you can post in there. And if they get also voted, I'm more likely to see it. So I might move this because it's too far out of the way. I think now. I might move this here. Bam, done it. I did it, chat. Great job, everyone. Great job, everyone. But yeah, posting latest video, chat.
Mikey! Super chat £3.74.
Thanks for the
I haven't
5.
finished painting my army to play, so I'm not big on the tabletop yet. And by panda I mean the political stuff.
What political stuff are they adding, Evan? What are you referring to? I don't know what you mean. Very, very brief explanation. I think alternating could work. Detachment system, similar to AOS, so it's still at least like one attachment rule at army creation like now. Examples: 1 HQ, 2 battle line. 1 HQ plus 1 non-battle line. Army list has 4 or 5 detachments after list creation. Phase of Saber's Night, so you activate your army via alternate detachment activations. This is this not just Titanicus? Not Titanicus. Apocalypse. Do you remember Apocalypse, chat? In before woke. Guys, you don't realise like I'm playing dumb because he keeps sending $5. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that every t-shirt that says woke on it. But yeah, like 40k Apocalypse had they tried to make Apocalypse they tried to make Apocalypse a thing, which was cool. Oh, there's one image that works, bro. Oh, the UK. Oh, the UK. Oh, we certainly live in a society, chat. VPN, yeah. We certainly live in a society, chat. Americas. Let's try Americas. Yo! Deathwatch, thanks for 27 months, dude.
Rejoined, Deathwatch24 celebrates 27 months of membership, Bazinga.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for 27 months at Parasocial tier. Maybe don't host your entire website's images on Pink Imga. I don't think they do anymore. I think they might have done. Just the culture war stuff. I like the Marines the way they are. Well, you like the Marines as gay? Because the Marines are pretty gay, don't you think? Big hulking men only hanging around with other big hulking men sounds pretty gay. Need that VPN for the anime. Thank you for the 52 months, DOAG. Appreciate you. I'm on VPN now. All prize one built in. I do have a VPN, I just don't use it unless I really need to, you know what I mean? But clearly I really need to.
DOAG celebrates 52 months of membership. Need that VPN for the animes.
Who doesn't love broing out with their bros, bro? Yeah, who doesn't love it? Who does love it? Gay men, you know? Big meaty men who call each other brother refute interacting with other women. Sounds pretty gay. And I'm all for it, you know? Up the gays, that's what I say. Sounds gay, but haven't Astartes had all sexual desire removed as part of gene manipulation? Nah, that sounds made up. That sounds really made up, to be honest. I think it's because they're gay. Armor that outlines your bro's rocking bod and nipples and get really close to each other. Yeah, I think they got rid of Sangria Guard nipples on the armor because it was too feminine. Because, like, nipples are quite feminine. And they were like, that's not very gay. That's quite, like, quite straight to see nipples. So I'm going to remove them. So I can just think about his dick instead. Which, you know, crotch plates haven't gone anywhere. Crotch plates haven't gone anywhere. If they had it all removed, explain where Slinesh draws it from. Yeah, the back at you. The back at you, bro. They are sterilized. Doesn't Gulliman fuck an Eldar, like, he gets the Eldar huzz. He gets the chopped huzz, you know what I mean? Does chopped huzz sound... Does chopped huzz make me sound unk? He's a Primarch though. Okay, it's so different. It's so different. He's a Primarch. He gets to keep his penis. Oh, is that where we're at, chat? Is that where we're at? Bro, Gilman's a Primarch. He gets to shag the huzz. You know, he gets all the hoes. All the other ones sterilized. Nah, they're just gay. They don't like Eldar. They want to shag each other. You know? That's it. That's it. Why do you think they wear tight skin latex all day? You know? The black carapace. Alright, you just want to wear a tight bodysuit at the bar, okay? It's pretty gay. GD going work removing sculpted nipples, so I have to non-metallic metal paint all my marines with our minutes for hours every day. Jesus, what is this? This is my war against the snowflakes, okay? The snowflakes that don't like the pandas. They don't like pandas in WoW, and they don't like space marines being gay, alright? Black lights. Bro, all the homies, my gay friends, go to the club in tight skin leather and call it black carapace. You know, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They've got an extra organ to dissolve poisonous stuff that enters their body. Caught. Caught. It's from sucking dick, chat. It's from sucking dick, bro. It's so they don't get pregnant. It's like the pill. It's like the pill, chat. It's the same. Marines love taking special organs. That's true. They openly said, give me an organ inside me. You know? Mikey plays semen is poison. I don't know, bro. Causes quite a large infection that lasts a lifetime. I'm like, what did I miss, chat? Give me a TLDR. We spoke about my stream idea next week where I'm going to be cutting open Gundam packs with scissors, but by cutting open, I mean cutting in half. We started talking about the relevant topic, but then someone said that they didn't like the woke stuff, quote, not a quote, but like they basically said they didn't like the woke stuff. So I started making out that Space Marines were gay in counter, you know? Mike, I didn't know this was a lore channel. I am a lore channel, yeah. Marines are gay. Marines are gay, and I'm happy for them. You know? I'm not saying gay is a negative, because I don't think it is a negative. It's brotherhood, he said as he grabbed onto his extra organ. I hate all the pandas, but I love the orangutans in 40k. Yeah, orangutans are pretty dope in 40k, aren't they? Get fucking lasers from their fingers. The Jokeros. Pew pew. They literally go bang bang and you do actually die. It's pretty dope, to be honest. He didn't get gene therapy. Bro. Let me tell you a story about my Astartes. Inky wasn't happy about me saying that, clearly. He was eating the foam and knocked over my little handheld Hoover and then bolted again. What are you doing, boy? Inky, there's people in chat that are saying that they don't like woke stuff. What do you say to that? Oh, you just farted, is that what we said? Lovely. He's Inky a turf. He's trying to move the conversation on. Return to Sheffield to be avoided. I didn't want to be accosted by any Yorkshireman. Probably like the Manor Park, and Firth Park. Anything with park in the name, just avoid that. Marines are trans, yeah, don't forget that. Anyway, as we were, back on topic. I go, you go. Remember that? Remember that conversation we had? We talk about the turn order in 40k? Do you remember that? How do I get back to that? Salamander detachment, am I right? Wait, Marines are trans, yeah. Transhuman. I get you guys sounds like woke nonsense. Nether Edge is fine, Martin. Thanks for the 43 months, dude. Nether Edge is sound, yeah. Appreciate the 43 months. Nether Edge is a bit of a drive, though. It's not walkable.
Celebrates 43
Martain V.
What about Nether Edge?
Thank you for the 43 months, dude. Really appreciate you. I go, you guys too pandering. Yeah, it's true. It's too pandering. So, just to catch everyone up where we were before we start talking about the pandas, which, you know, I really like pandas. We were talking about the fact that people seem to want I go, you go, changing to alternate activations in 40k. They want it for 11th edition. They say it's not going to change anything. And then someone in chat, Dave, I think it was, said that maybe an alternate activation system of a detachment system. So you activate you alternately activate detachments, not single units, you know. Same as now, it's that you activate your army via alternate activation, alternating. Why am I struggling with that word so much? Detachments, to which I just said that is apocalypse, and then we got the VPN issue, and then we started talking about how space marines were pretty gay. I would say I want it. No, sorry, I didn't. I was just saying that you came up with it. So does this have rules examples in this? The unlike anything, won't use shared turns using alternate activations. More akin to games of kill team. Each turn is split into 4 phases. Yada yada yada. Detachments. Every touch you create as a commander, which is a unit chosen from among the highest leadership value. If you command into a character, they become the warlord and help you generate command assets. Tell me what a detachment looks like. The only actually if I see detachment special. I don't care about the special rules. Tell me what a detachment is. Oh, similar to the 8th edition rulebook. So, Gunhammer, this is dated terribly because I don't have the 8th edition rulebook. So how can I read this article? Gunhammer, I love you. This is so dated. This article's awful. I can't read it because I don't have the there we go, detachment options. Battalion, Outrider, Vanguard, Spearhead, and Super Heavy, each with optional HQs of 5 special detachments, Patrol, Airing, Super Heavy Auxiliary, Fortification Network, and Supreme Command, which have some additional bonuses. So, chat, if you don't know what, if you never played 8th edition, you don't know what any of this means. Essentially, in Apocalypse, which is like the game system that they tried to make, like Apocalypse, like extremely large games of 40k, extremely quick, so you could actually play them in an evening or an afternoon or whatever. Essentially, what they did was they bundled groups together. They bundled the armies together to act as one unit, essentially. So that the movement trays and stuff like that aren't because for like speed of moving around models in 40k. It's because a unit is essentially treated as a model in Apocalypse. You know, so like this knight detachment here is probably like acting as a single unit, and then the warhound is on its own because it's big, right? But like you might get like a bloodthirster and loads of like bloodletters, or maybe like a skull taker, loads of bloodletters, and then that's a unit, and then another unit is like a blood crusher lord, and then loads of blood crushers is another unit, you know. So the idea of it was to make the game quicker by essentially making all of your individual units act like one big unit, and then you would alternate the big unit because the big unit was multiple units wrapped together. You know? So that's what's been suggested here, essentially. This is what this idea is from Dave. But I don't personally... I think that would be a way to make it work. But I'm interested to see what Sam has to say. But we might have to skip through a lot of it. It's 4 minutes long. I remember when Apocalypse was just normal 40k rules with massive points values and allowed big old warlord titans. That's basically what it is now, because the idea of Apocalypse as a game system is dead. The way that Apocalypse worked was you activated these super, let's call them super units, you know, because essentially a unit would be like a Gravis captain, some intercessors, and maybe some outriders and some eradicators, all like in one big unit. You activated the super unit, alternate. I don't think alternate is a real word anymore. I need a new word that sounds the same. It doesn't feel like a real word anymore because I've said it so many times this morning. You took it in turns activating super units, and then you applied damage at the end of the turn. So if you walked your Reaver Titan out, okay, shot something and blew up half their army, they would then still react with that half of their army, but then at the end of the turn, that's when the casualties will be removed. So you would kind of forego the issue with damage from one particular unit by going, all the damage is removed at the end of the turn, or that's when it's applied. It's essentially at the same time. You know, you alternate you alternate between the turn, take it in turns doing each unit, but you will both lose the units at the same time, so you actually won't suffer the effects as hard, basically. I won't do the treat a single unit. No, that's obviously like in Apocalypse. That's the whole idea with super units. But the idea if you did like 4 detachments in 40k to alternate activations is you would activate 500 points at a time. Which I don't actually would think would be a bad idea. It doesn't work. You would need force organization because you can't just have 500 points split, because 500 points is not always equal to another 500 points in terms of like what it does on the battlefield. Because like what people want for Apocalypse is that people just want to spend all day deploying and playing 40k, normal 40k with loads of models. Yeah, this was Games Workshop's idea to like, how do we actually play a game of Apocalypse? Because the idea of Apocalypse is just, it's just the what is it, Apocalypticon? That mini wargaming used to run? Or they used to go to? Excuse me? Apocalypticon. And obviously...
Mikey!
Yo!
Super chat £3.74. Hey, I get we probably don't agree on everything, just wanted to explain why some people care more about one thing or the other.
Well, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it, Evan. I just want to make it extremely clear that I didn't really bring it up, you did. And I don't know why, because we're talking about alternate activations. I kind of made an off-the-cuff joke, about inserting woke politics into Warhammer, and now they're trying to insert woke alternate activations. Outside of that, you brought it up. It really wasn't relevant, so I don't know why you brought it up. Appreciate the donor, though. So yeah, there's like Apocalypticon from Mini Wargaming fucking ages ago. 13 years ago. Apocalypticon Battle Report Part 1 of 5? Those are the days. Fuck me. Those were the days, chat. And then an hour long. Oh man, I feel myself aging faster. The fucking Kevin McLeod music every time. Every time. I swear they just drag and drop new footage all the time. They didn't change the music or the intro or anything. Look at Matt, look how young he is. Everybody to your tables, no matter whose side of it, because you gotta be there for the Matt, don't sound too excited, will you, please?
Alright, so this Hierophant is shooting at that Titan.
That's all it was. Look at the state. There's no thought to this. It's just put models on table and call it a name. But Games Workshop trying to make it into a game. I wanted to see like a big wide shot, but this is just a battle report. I wanted to see all the models, you know. This is not quite what I wanted. Battle report number 1. Oh, that was part 2, was it? Fucking hell. Fucking hell.
All right, welcome to Apocalypticon 2013.
Look at the state of the tables. Why are they all spread out like that?
I apologize that we're starting a little late. We have over 600,000 points at our game today.
I can't complain about the music because I used to use this as an intro song. There we go.
So we're very excited about that. Thank you for making this our biggest Apocalypticon yet. Next year,
Look at the fucking state of the models in the background.
We'll go for 1 million. No, I'm serious.
It's like 5 feet tall.
Well, we're gonna really push it to see how much we can get. And the nice thing is this year everything is painted to varying levels of quality, of course, but everything is painted, which means it's gonna look
the shade. Everything's painted. Some of it's fucking dog shit.
Fantastic on the videos. It's going to look fantastic on the tables. I wanted to go over some of the rules just to clarify some things, some last minute changes. I want to answer any questions that we have, and then we're going to get started. I want to talk about the schedule. So for those of you who are new, let me explain how that works.
So it
creates a little bit.
Well, what works? We just skipped over that.
Okay, so then all the super heavies.
I like how his name tag says Matt Batrep. That's fun.
Okay, Great Gargants are worth 3.
This is when we had class. But look at the state of it. This was Apocalypse. Just put models on the table. Why did you put them in a circle? Looks cool. What was the thought process about this deployment on this type of terrain? Looks cool. The first time there's already a lot of paint. It's just a base color. What I love about Apocalypse is every fucking orc player bringing out a Stomper. Every fucking orc player owns a Stomper, never sees a light of day. This is the only time where they deploy 600,000 points worth of models all in one go. That's the only time a Stomper is worth putting on the table. But like, it's just funny because it's just like you get allocated a small amount of space for deployment. You deploy 24 inches apart, so there's not enough space to put your models down. So it just ends up being, okay, I'll just put that shit there. That'll do. Ironically, I think the way the game's developed now, where we kind of like hide everything behind walls and stuff, at least it's a little bit more realistic. Yeah, we're all hiding all our army in like one place and like behind walls, and sometimes it looks dumb, but at least there's like thought to it. You know what I mean? This is just no thought, head empty, put models down. 2 opposing car parks. Yeah, literally. This is no thoughts, head empty. Why are the warhounds behind the Tau gun line? No one will ever know. Why are the Tau drones up there like that? Someone is trying to cheese an apocalypse, that's why. They're trying to move block. They're like, yeah, we'll win this apocalypse game. We'll put all... There he is. Look, he's the Tau player. Putting all the... No wonder people hate Tau players. Apocalypse game where it's glorified car park.
Super chat.
Thank you for the 5.
74 pence. The joke was why. Some people are here for the painting, others for lore, others for gaming, others are a bit of all, so priorities aren't all the same.
Okay, I appreciate the donation, but like you are preaching now and you're getting quite annoying. Thank you for the 5, really appreciate you. But also, I don't think I agree with your opinion, and that's okay. But just because I don't agree with the opinion doesn't mean I have to pander to yours. Anyway. The fucking drones fucking wall boxing the warhounds like the fucking Tau player every time. I'll put this down, guys, don't worry, then they can't charge your warhounds, and then your warhounds can just shoot every turn and you'll win. See, the tyranid one is the only one that makes sense, you know what I mean? We're never gonna watch that video. Bro's never watched the stream before. Bro, I had nothing to talk about besides this morning, and this has turned into a really interesting topic, so I'm just gonna milk it for every second possible because people seem to be enjoying it. Fucking Balrog? Balrog? In my Warhammer? Oh. Fucking hell. Why is he rushing so much? What's he rushing for? He plays 600,000 points. Give up, Evan. Mikey's gone off of late. Loads of weird takes. Bro, I'm just going to start banning people. If you want to be a cunt in my chat, I'm going to just fucking ban you. I don't give 2 fucks. There's like a couple of people in this chat have been fucking winding me up. He just like... fucking grow up. Go and touch some grass. You know what I mean? If you don't like what I've got to say, you don't have to watch. You are on YouTube. There is 1 billion minutes of content uploaded every day. I don't care about you. Go watch something else. Jesus. Anyway. Fucking, what a time to be alive. Fucking trash can orc. What happened in turn 2 there? Oh, we're still in deployment. There's even more drones. If you didn't deploy in a set time, your units were destroyed. Was that the rules here as well? Super Apocalypse stars coming soon. The thing is with it is I've played so many Apocalypse games, you know. I've played so many Apocalypse games and I've never enjoyed them. I enjoy the deployment and I enjoy them taking pictures. Like that's the bit I enjoy. I enjoy taking pictures of all the models on the table. Actual playing, nah. It's just awful.
This table, moving up a bit, blow up a few tanks here. Yeah, 1 Shadow Sword got destroyed. Over here, we've got another super heavy destroyed by, well, I mean, this is what they're up against. On this table...
Just like fucking hell. Like, what's going on? What's going on? No, these guys never get past turn 1 or 2. Yeah, 'cause it takes you so fucking long to deploy. It takes you so fucking long to deploy. Then what's the... Like, when you actually come to move the models, you only get, like, so much time to resolve it. No one's listening. Everyone's talking because there's so many people there. It's just the worst gaming experience. The novelty of having that many models on one board, because it's just loads of tables pushed together, is far larger and far more exciting than the actual playing, you know.
You can keep it on there if you really want. I don't need to take it. So
What-
unfortunately, it's
What the? You can keep it on there if you want. Oh, because they used to have Rex, didn't they?
so find out how big it is. Okay, so you can choose to keep it, but you can keep it on there if you really want. I don't need to take it. So unfortunately, it's just wrecked, and that is the end.
Is that just a fucking kid's JCB? Like a kid JCB truck?
So back in and vengeance killed this. Does it explode? It did explode. Oh, you already rolled? What's that? Yep. So that is 7-inch explosion. Everybody in here taking strength hits. Lehman Russ Battle Company, Tank Company rolled up and just killed that Titan. Is it going to blow up? Which one of you wants to roll this? Whether or not it blows up. All right, you blew it up. Okay. Does it explode? Where are you? +1 on whatever you roll. +1? Better be a 5. Last cannon. 5. It still explodes, but it's not quite exciting. So 2d6, 7-inch explosion. Everybody within 7.
Didn't even let the guys on a Titan. He's probably not moved it. He's probably spent months building it. He's just put it on the table. The other guy got to roll the explosion. Cringe. Yeah, look at the blast template. So many as well.
This is all that remains after the explosion.
What? A few guardsmen. There's... What a joke. This was Warhammer's peak, don't forget. This is what people yearn for. You know, like kids yearn for the mimes? 40k players yearn for this size game.
Everyone within 2d6 gets a wound on a 4+. And stay guys. So just your guys, all on a 4-up. Lehman Russ got the killing blow on the Fortress of Arrogance. Look at him. Anyway, does it explode? I got 3 guys. No. Wimpy. It just crumps. And that's that for this table. Exorcist just finished off the Warhounds. Does it explode? Yes, it does. 3d6, strength 9, AP 2. And the explosion is
13 inches? That's crazy.
Nothing really died. Nothing.
God, trying to watch this, it's making me feel sick. Can you believe this is all 40k content once upon a time? Just this shaky camera. I can criticize. I was part of the problem, but this was once upon a time. This was all 40k content was just wobbly camera like this. Fucking hell. And people used to watch this and enjoyed it. Imagine doing this now. Back when bat reps were watchable. Bro. Shut up. Bazinga. Can play a tabletop, bang out an apocalypse in 40 minutes video. Yeah, probably. It'd take them 4 years, but they get like so many views, so it'd be worth it. There's also something weirdly not narrative this with wildly disparate armies smashed together. Well, yeah, because there's just so many people, right? What are you supposed to do? Have just Space Marines versus orks or something? Fucking the state of the camera. I'm gonna unmute. It's making me feel sick. I'm gonna stop watching. Right, let's actually go back to the video we were trying to talk about anyway. We were trying to talk about the fact that alternate activations doesn't work. Maybe detachments works, but the point of detachments probably comes from the idea of apocalypse. Apocalypse is only fun because it's all about the idea of getting all your models out and just play big Warhammer, not exclusively playing a system designed for big Warhammer, because that's not quite as fun as playing big Warhammer. Okay, I think we're all there. Also, Space Marines are gay. Don't forget that bit.
Hey everyone, Sam Pearson here. I worked as a games designer in the Warhammer design studio for the last 7 years, where I worked on wargames such as Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar. I also led the design of other wargames such as Warcry. This video is the first in my game design theory series, where instead of looking at the design and mechanics of just a single game, we're going to look at a broader design topic and see how its application can differ across a variety of tabletop games. In this video, we're going to look at activation systems, specifically in tabletop war games. It's a topic that's going to be fun to explore, but it can also be controversial from time to time, especially when it comes to what activation system should be used for Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar, and that's something we'll discuss later in this video. So this topic is an interesting one if you're a budding games designer or just a player of tabletop games.
I think as soon as a video is 30 minutes or more, you need timestamps. Surely, right? 30 minutes or more, timestamps. What do you think, like, the cutoff is, chat? Do you think 30 minutes? Do you think 40 minutes? I think 10 minutes needs timestamps. Am I impatient? Probably.
Games, and I think that the line between the two is not that distinct. Inside every player of tabletop games is a budding designer. So even if you're just curious about how to improve the games that you already play, rather than necessarily designing your own games, this is going to be a fun topic to explore. I'll see you after the jump.
30 minutes definitely timestamps.
An activation system.
I like timestamp shorts. Based. Based.
Sits at the core of every wargame as its beating heart. It defines the sequence of play by dictating when and how players take turns and what players get to do on their turn. Now currently the discourse is dominated by two activation systems. I Go You Go, seen in games such as Warhammer 40,000.
You got that TikTok brain. Don't come at me with TikTok brain, bro. I know you watch Instagram Reels. It's the same dog slop, just a few months late. Okay? You know? Don't come at me with, oh, you've got TikTok brain. You've got Instagram brain. You got Reels brain, which doesn't sound as catchy. It's funny because I saw a TikTok that was like, when people say they don't use TikTok and they act like really cool, like, yeah, I don't use TikTok. I know you have Instagram Reels. I know you watch Reels, bro.
And alternate activation, which you can find in games such as Bolt Action, or to use another Games Workshop example, Kill Team. As for me, I have designed under both systems. I did Age of Sigmar Spearhead, which is I Go You Go, because it uses the Age of Sigmar core rules, and I also led the design of Warcry, which uses alternate activation. We'll define how each of those work in just a second, and we'll also pitch the two against each other to decide which one is best. But those are far from the only activation systems out there, so we'll also explore the wider gaming landscape to see what other activation systems there are, and we'll cook up a few of our own as well. Okay, let's look at the two most commonly employed activation systems, I Go You Go and alternate activations. The names for each, I Go You Go and alternate activations, may seem like misnomers at first. After all, unless you're playing Hungry Hippos, few tabletop games let you act simultaneously. But the names actually stem from how the sequence of play unfolds over the rounds of a game. For example, in Warhammer 40,000, a battle is comprised of 5 rounds, and in each round, each player takes a single turn, in which they activate all of their units. In a player's turn, all their units get to move, shoot, and fight, and so on, and then play is passed over to their opponent, who does the same, before the round closes and the sequence resets. In other words,
I do back and watch a video and not need timestamps to skip. I just want to know the chapters, Dr. Donald, okay? I just wanted to know what I should expect as a consumer, alright? Is that such a crime? Is that such a crime? Calling me TikTok brain. Go watch your Instagram Reels. I've already seen them 6 months ago. Need to invent Speed Hammer. Both players just play at the same time as fast as they can. Oh, imagine. Yeah, you're like, I'm trying to move a unit, but I'm like fucking frantically trying to roll saves at the same time. God. You'd have one, that's where, you know what, if we were going to do Speed Hammer, that's where our little gauges would come in real handy. Exclamation point widget in chat. Because you could just put this down in front of your unit, move 6 with one hand, have your dice ready in the other. You know? Drop them out of this hand. I'm rolling saves. You want to play Speed Hammer? Exclamation point, widget. Says the name on it. It's very cool. Very epic. Comes in 9-inch. The assault gauge, I think. It comes in 6-inch recon. No, this is Scout. This is the Scout gauge. They're really cool. I've got a set of 3. I've been using them on stream. I've been using them in my casual games as well. They're really handy. I'll check them out. Exclamation point widget. I'll type it myself. It's fine, chap. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, mods. Don't worry about it, mods. I'll type it myself. Fine.
Round, I take a turn and then you take a turn. I go, you go. On the other hand, in a game like Kill Team, over the course of a round, players instead take many turns. This is because on each of their turns, instead of activating all their units, they instead activate just one. And instead of there being a set number of turns in a round, there are as many turns as there are units on the battlefield. Play goes back and forth between the players, each taking turns to activate a unit one at a time until there are no more units left to be activated, at which point the round closes and the sequence resets. This,
like I said, this works really well in games like Kill Team, Warcry, etc. because of the scale of unit that you have, right? Is that like the scale of a unit in Kill Team is like between like, because you have Space Marines, which are obviously like, let's say the average, but lower than average. You have like cultists as like your weakest human level unit, but then the max, the highest, toughest unit in Kill Team, they don't even have custodians anymore, do they? You know what I mean? It's like the maximum is just like another guy. It's just a bigger guy with a bigger gun, which is scary. But the bigger guy with a bigger gun can only really kill one guy a turn. You know, maybe 2 if you charge and stuff. Whereas like in 40k, your scale is like 5 dudes with some bolters versus Imperial Knight. Like it doesn't. The scale is too off to have just straight up alternate activations, because there's too much variance in like what a unit can and can't do. Whereas in Kill Team Warcry, it's dudes versus dudes, all people. I should say people versus people. It's like very humanoid figures all the time. I mean, you even have monsters in Warcry. You have large things, but what ends up happening is you end up like the big monster will cost a lot more points. Let's say you've got like the Mind Stealer Guy Rings or whatever it's called, the big dog cat thing. You have that, which is like a large monster. But then because it costs so many points, you have less bodies in your army. So what ends up happening is like, we'll alternate. You'll activate your big monster, kill loads of stuff. And then I'll activate and we'll swap. And then when you've run out, I've got like 6 dudes left that'll all activate and probably kill it. So like the way that's balanced is that it ends up just being I go, you go eventually, because it's you've gone. I'm going to go with the rest of my stuff now. I've got loads. I can do whatever I want, you know? So that's the way it's balancing like smaller games, but because it's only one instance, it's not crazy. Whereas like with the like Imperial Knights, yeah, they'd only have 5 activations, but those activations are quite dominant. But then you get to activate the rest of your army afterwards once they've gone. But then would you lose too much because you can't react with everything all at once? You can't move all of your units out of the way so they don't all die in a single turn to like the 3 knights activating one at a time. Would you be able to counter quick enough? I don't think so, personally. Alternate activations with that 240 infantry guard list from LVO. Yeah, literally. I'm going to activate 10 guardsmen. Right, okay, I'm going to activate most of my army now.
Is alternate activations. Like any mechanic in games design, both systems come with pros and cons, but not just that. Each brings a unique feel and a different pace to your game. And these are 2 things, the game's feel and the game's pace, that I'm going to be bringing up a lot in this video, so I wanted to call them out early. The feel of I Go You Go is what I would call strategic, while the feel of alternate activation is tactical. By that I mean I Go You Go is a system where players can hatch plans on a grand scale, executing big battlefield maneuvers, mass cavalry charges, flank attacks, routing the enemy line, and so on. And its pace is therefore one of ebb and flow. During a player's turn, they are on the attack and have the advantage. Their opponent needs to hunker down and hope their defensive measures are enough to weather the onslaught before they can mount a counterattack of their own. Alternate activation, on the other hand, is about minute-to-minute action. Rather than viewing the battlefield at a grand scale, you are instead down in the trenches with the troops. It has a much quicker pace, where every action made by one player invites a reaction by their opponent. A tank rumbles forth down a street, time to redirect your anti-armor weaponry. A squad of infantry make a dash across open ground, time to redirect your artillery fire upon them. The different feel
That's quite an interesting way to look at it, to be honest. That's an awful pause moment.
of
There you go. That's a really interesting way to describe it. Yeah, it's one's strategic, one's tactical. I never really like thought about it that way, but yeah, it's when it's like kind of like fed to you on a plate like that, it like makes a lot of sense. Where it's like you are in a Igo Yigo, you're setting up a defensive measure for your opponent to try and counter it. A lot of the time, that ends up being quite aggressive, as in trying to kill what your opponent can do to you. Like a lot of the time, your counter to your opponent having a good turn is killing more of their shit, so they can't have a good turn. But I understand that in concept. Yeah, quite a profound way to think about it. Clearly, a guy's been working in game design for a long time, unlike me, who just sits in the sideline and plays silly games.
Each of the games defines its pace, and it is the biggest strength of each of the systems. But they also come with their own inherent weaknesses. Let's look at Igo Yugo first. So while the pace of Igo Yugo is this big ebb and flow where players take turns on a grand scale, and this helps define the feel of the game, it is a double-edged sword, and it is also the root of most criticisms against it. The first of these criticisms relates to an idea I introduced in my Spearhead video, and that is one of feedback loops. This is the idea that when you destroy a chunk of your opponent's army, they then have less units with which to retaliate, meaning they are less likely to destroy the same amount of your units in return. And this situation begins to loop back round on itself into something called a positive feedback loop, or as gamers might call it, a death spiral. Now, this feedback loop exists in all wargames.
No one has anyone ever used the term death spiraling outside of game design? Oh, hey, don't just repeat the word just as I'm asking the question. That's ridiculous. I've never used the term death spiraling. I called it a win more, which I think kind of is the same thing, but rather than talk about the loser, it's talking about the winner. He said it before. He said it in another video, yeah. He said it in his other video. I just did. I don't think you're real. I don't think you're real.
It is just the nature of a game where you destroy your opponent's units. But Igo Yugo exacerbates this feedback loop because players activate their units en masse, and this means it is much easier to deal a killing blow before the opponent has a chance to react. This is especially painful if it happens on the first turn, where it is called an alpha strike. The second issue of Igo Yugo is something called the wombo combo. This phrase describes a player doing a series of coordinated moves which, if pulled off correctly, can lead to an instant victory, or at least an unwinnable situation for their opponent. You can think of this like a card game.
Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! Be like the OTK. Thankfully, we don't have this in Gundam because it's a it's a gentleman's game. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have OTKs in Gundam because gentlemen play this, not like the scrubs and the riffraff that call themselves card game players. The sophisticated of us go to play the old Gundam, but it's quite prominent in like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic, where it's just like, oh, I have this hand, okay, I've already won. If you're gonna say shit like that, you need to have a top hat or at least a monocle. If I was editing this video, I would edit it in. You know what I mean? 1 second. Oh, that doesn't work anymore. I have to add it manually. It's gonna be great, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, guys. It's gonna be great. Is this worth the bit? Gentlemen play Gundam. Gentlemen play Gundam. It's one of those fake PNGs. That's what makes it even funnier. Don't you think that's a good bit, chat? Only gentlemen play Gundam. We don't have 1 turn kills. We have 4 turn kills. It's called aggro, but it takes 4 turns to trigger. Anyway.
Magic the Gathering is full of wombo combos, and many decks are built around this strategy. All you need to do is assemble the right pieces and then pull the trigger. You can see the same thing occur in Warhammer 40,000 from time to time. If the right combination of units, auras, stratagems, and buffs can create an unkillable combination. And wombo combos, even if
Smash characters weren't unkillable, they were just fucking extremely efficient. YouTube needs Snapchat filter. Just like on TikTok, where you can send money to put cowboy hats on people. I don't think we really have wombo combos in 40k. We barely have alpha strikes. We kind of like have beta strikes, you know? Sigma strikes, I want to say. We have Sigma strikes now, not alpha. Alpha's cringe. It's all about Sigma. But we have like turn 2 alpha strikes now. You know what I mean? Because like we have so much terrain on the board these days, and we have and the fact that like going second is more important these days because of late game scoring. A lot of time, like alpha strikes are done like 10-3. They've done their best to stop wombo combos and alpha strikes from existing post 8th edition. It's been a gradual erosion of those mechanics. Yeah, definitely. Alpha strikes is why there's so much terrain. Yes, exactly that. Got to go. Have a nice stream. Hey, have a nice day, Evan. Maybe talk to other people rather than just online. Alpha strikes used to be bad in 8th. Remember old turn 1 frontline Mortari Magda's list? Yeah, what? Super Smash Bros? Super Smash Bros, which is Magda's Mortarian, and then Aetios Raukeras. The big fucking super chicken that was crazy. Oh, those are the days. I remember I beat that. I won a tournament. It was like one of the first 8th edition tournaments, and I beat it with a silly Gulliman and loads of random space marines. It was like Centurions, a flyer, some scouts. You know? But that's hard. I know, but I believe in you, Evan. I think you can do it. You know? I believe you can do it. We can get different opinions and accept it. That's okay. And understand that Space Marines are pretty gay. That are my 7 Flyrants. Yeah, I still have so many Flying Hive Tyrants that I bought cheap because no one wanted them anymore. Yeah, those are the days. It's just like they were the wombo combos, and by wombo combos, it's just like so much overwhelming so quickly. But yeah, like the idea of Alpha Strike has definitely disappeared. Because going first is shit in 40k. My Smash Captain got pulled something legendary stuff, but then he could consistently ruffle stomp by everything, so I remodeled him with 4 bionic limbs. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. The Gulliman Castle was also horrified with Razorback spam. That's kind of what I was doing, but with just like every other unit, just not Razorbacks. Was Razorback even that popular outside of Lawrence doing well one time? I remember Lawrence won with it at Warhammer World, but I don't remember any other event having Razorback spam. It's just Lawrence is quite famous in 40k, so it made it quite popular. It wasn't my local meta. Oh, okay, that's fair. The problem with Smash Captains was the rules for buildings was so dumb, and the way that Deep Strike and stuff worked. Where, like, let's say this is like a building, right? This is a building. This kind of links, not Africa, as an Imperial Knight, or whatever, or a unit. I ain't got enough hands. But essentially, I don't have a model either. Essentially, you used to be able to deep strike on top of buildings because you were more than 9 inches away. You know, you were more than 9 inches away, so you could deep strike on the building because this distance from here, my base, to here was more than 9. But then, get the paint. Yeah, paint skills are so much better. I don't know why. Why am I doing physical props when I can just get paint? The problem with like Smash Captains in particular. How do I make this page bigger? There. So you had like a building. Yeah. You had like a building. And then you had like your little smash captain on the top. He's a little guy. He's got a little hammer. He's got a little head, and he's got a little shield, and he's got a backpack, which is going to be smaller. I don't know what I did there. He's got a little backpack, you know. Smash. You got Smash Captain, then you'd have like an Imperial Knight, which is like here. And it's like stood on its base, and it's got legs, and it's got like a big body. It's got guns and stuff. I don't know what gun we're going to have. We're going to have like a machine gun. I don't know what I did there. Got a Gatling cannon. Meow. It's got another gun. I'm really struggling today. It's got another gun. Meow. It's got a head. It's got some cat ears. I don't know. You got like an Imperial Knight at the bottom. And like this distance was more than 9 inches. Okay. So you could deep strike up here. Okay. But then what they did was with fly, with the keyword fly, you never measured the vertical distance for terrain. So you deep strike up here 9 away, but then when you charge essentially like this. This is your charge range of like 1 inch. So they essentially made an extremely good unit that was really good at killing stuff because it was thunder hammers. They were pretty good. It had like extra attacks because it was blood angels. It had a storm shield. It used to move 12. It used to have fly. So it was crazy good. So you deep struck it on top of buildings, but then they were like, yeah, when you move with fly, you ignore the vertical distance. So all of this was 1 inch. Is that a dreadnought trying to climb a wall? Sorry, I'm in a place where the volume has to be low. This is clearly an Imperial Knight. I don't know what the question. What question is this? What are you asking? This is clearly an Imperial Knight. So yeah, this is why these became extreme. This is like, it wasn't really wombo combo because the unit itself was quite strong, but it wasn't because of an abundance of rules. It was because of the core rules were fucked. Why are there cat ears though? Why not? Why not? Tenth of version of Fly is a classic case of overcorrecting in a bad way. Fly is currently ass. Fly's difficult, yeah, because like you don't fly. We don't have fly in 40k really. Currently, because the fly as like a concept just lets you fly over enemy models, so it's almost like a leap. You know what I mean? So fly units became a lot slower, and I think like in theory, in concept, in like physical playing, fly is pretty rubbish, but I think the game overall is better for it. You know what I mean? Fly hardly comes into it, but it also means it's not extremely broken. Because like problems with this were a real issue. I always think you should just measure to model, you know what I mean? But like that's kind of what we have now, and people don't like it. Like I said, like if you measured here to here, that distance. But then other units that can't fly shouldn't be able to go up. But then that seems weird. So kind of every unit can kind of go up and over, but you have to go up walls and stuff. Or fly should fly ignore terrain / models for movement. Yeah, but like we said, like you get problems like this. And if you go, well, not for charging, it's kind of similar though. You know, if you go not for charging, cool, I deep strike up here and move down here and then charge. You know? Or I start up here where you can't get me because you don't have fly. Then I move down and then charge. Tenth has covered setting up the reserves now, mentioning horizontal vertical distancing rules. Yeah, very true. Very, very true. What do you think about October 2025 price hikes? I already made a video about it on my second channel. If you want to go check it out. Hellstormwargaming. I did a video talking about how much everything was going up. You should subscribe because I'm trying to hit 1,000 followers. That's my second channel where I talk about things like more concise. I know they cause a ton of issues, but I miss most times being able to run aircraft. Marines are the only army they get to use over any at this point. Marines are drukhari, yeah. I kind of think maybe conversion, like it takes 1 inch every 3 inches of distance you cover or something like ilk. Still impacts, but doesn't make it possible to top over a wall. Yeah, I think there needs to be something, but I think like we're definitely in the safest period now, which is annoying, but it's not like crazy dumb. What is crazy dumb is like if you have this building, okay, this Imperial Knight can't interact with him, okay, because it's too high. But if I had, I don't know, like a Storm Raven. I can't draw the wings without going 3D. Do you like how I drew the Imperial Knight who kited and then spent like 5 minutes with the Storm Raven? If I had a Storm Raven, okay, I could charge him because I measure from here. Isn't that funny? Isn't that quite funny? It's like the Imperial Knight can't reach, but the Storm Raven can because it can use its tail fin as part of the hull to fight. Which means you can tank shock things like on the top floor of UKTC ruins with the Storm Raven. Isn't that hilarious? Just to clarify, you'd be tipping the back of the Storm Raven. Yeah, you can pivot for 2 inches though. I spend 2 inches and flip it 360. I can even do it in here. I can spend 2 inches. How do I mirror stuff? Flip! There we go. Now the Storm Raven can fight. And that's in the current edition. I remember Hellstorm Dan beating me at one world because I couldn't reach his drukhari standing on the top of buildings with my knights. Well, one, he's not Hellstorm Dan anymore. But two, yeah, that's kind of the issue with Fly, right? It shows we don't see Valkyries anymore. And the Imperial Line and list of aircrafts got legends to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, I was like unpacking more of my models the other day because I finally unpacked all of my models from the move because a lot of the stuff like drukhari, so a lot of the vehicles essentially have been in boxes still just because I've had nowhere to put them. I bought some new shelving and finally put them out, and I pulled out my 2 vultures and I was like, ugh, ugh. I mean, I could just use them as Valkyries, but it's like, ugh. But I did the same. I won a tournament against the same Dan because I put my obelisk, the Necron building, on top of a piece of terrain because it had flies, so you couldn't touch it with these Wraith Knights. And you had the 2 sword ones, because I killed the shooting ones. So I just stood on top of a building, you couldn't touch me. Yeah, great time. Great time had by all.
They require skill to pull off. They leave a sour taste in the mouth of the opponent, which is why generally they're considered to be bad games design. The last criticism of I go, you go may seem trivial at first, but I think it's one of the biggest, and that is the longer it takes for a player's turn to complete, the longer their opponent stands around with nothing to do. We're talking about war games after all, so this speaks directly of that game aspect. Players want to play the game, and the longer you deny a player from making any meaningful impact in the game, the more likely they are to switch off and become disinterested. So those are the biggest.
And that's why I have reactions, by the way. All these reactions, it's not really like a game. It is kind of from like a game balancing point, but most of it is because they want people to be more engaged during the opponent's turn. The biggest complaint about 40k is the the biggest complaint about 40k is that I am sat around for half of this 3 hours doing nothing, just rolling saves and removing models. So that's why they brought reactions in. But then that made the game more complex. They've then tried to balance it by bringing the points down, so armies have got too large again. It's the same cycle. A new edition comes out, all the points, all the game changes, all of the points changes. You only need this many models to play a game. You need 30 models. Great. So we'll play the game. New books come out. My army gets shitter, so they'll drop the points. Now I need 35 models. Now I need 40. We'll change it. We'll play the game. We'll have reactions in, keep it going, and then we need like 60 models, and then we're at 70 models, you know. And it's just like you just need so much, and then the game's too long, and then people are like, oh, I really want a new edition. So then they go, here's a new edition. You only need 35 models.
Weaknesses of I go, you go, and they can all be boiled down into two things essentially. When you get to activate with all of your units at once, turns can be A, too long, and turns can be B, too impactful. And one thing I don't see brought up explicitly in the debate, but I think is crucial, is this idea of turns being too long and too impactful is especially important in the first turn of the game. During the first player's first turn, their opponent has not even begun to play yet. And so if the first turn is too long and too impactful, these issues are going to be much more keenly felt than at any other point in the game. No one likes to be on the receiving end of an alpha strike. And it's not just about losing the game in the first turn. Even just being put on a significant back foot before you've had a chance to make any meaningful decision can leave a sour taste in your mouth. Now,
I disagree. I don't think the first... Like, in a casual setting, maybe the first turn can be a real issue. And the time issue, yeah, the first turn can take ages. That's annoying. But, like, in modern 40k, where we're playing 2,000 points, fairly, let's say, on a tournament-style terrain... We're not playing a tournament, but like a tournament terrain-style board. The first turn is actual dog shit. It is actual poop from my ass. It's actual shit in my mouth. It's so bad. Because there isn't really alpha strikes anymore. Unless that's just referring to like the level of play that I have compared to like a normal game of Warhammer with normal people. Not like fucking Tylenol enjoyers like me. The first turn's so bad. I don't want to go first. I hate going first. My win statistic is lower by a large amount when I go first. You know? Turn 2 to 3 are the big go turns now. It's just shifted. Yeah, like turn 3 though, you've at least your opponent's had 2 turns, you know what I mean? But like to say like the first turn is like full of alpha strikes, I don't think it is, unless I'm just so shielded from that because I only really play fairly competitive games, you know. I only really play with tournament terrain. I don't really play without it anymore. And then I only really play... I play like casual competitively. You know what I mean? I play casual competitive, I play with friends and stuff like that, where it's just like, we'll use a tournament table, but we're not like trying to be gamey wankers or whatever. We're not bringing like optimized lists, but the idea of like alpha strikes is still a thing seems a bit... Same as Warhammer World Colonies, if you remember, with their all-terrain turn, what would really matter? Yeah, definitely. Like 9th edition at Warhammer World, brutal. So much so, I complained because I said the terrain. I came second because I alpha struck 3 of my 5 opponents, and I complained. And then they used my my complaint as evidence to say that the terrain is really bad. When the guy who came second, who should have had a nice time, is complaining about the terrain because it's so brutal. Because I'll draw you another picture. Because I was playing against I was running Iron Hands, so it was, you know, it was fucking destined to win from the start. Let's be honest. I was running Iron Hands in 9th, but the problem is like it was when we were running that terrain that was like squares, you know, and you had like a square here and a square here and a square here and a square here or whatever. I know it's not to scale, and it was like some little squares here. You know what I mean? It was with this, and we still kind of use this today, you know? We still, and then it had like some like diagonal ones in the middle, whatever. Okay, fine. Fine, whatever. I can't rotate them. You get the idea. This is like the terrain, and the idea what with it is you're supposed to have like terrain pieces like this. This is what it was like. It was like this. So the idea that line of sight, I've done it wrong. Line of sight was supposed to be like this. So then you could hide behind them. And we were playing Hammer and Anvil, so it was like that. And this is one game against a guy who played before, and he was really nice. And but I was running like really broken iron hands, and he was running Chaos Knights. And Chaos Knights were pretty good at the time. But the problem is that Warhammer World in particular, they didn't have this terrain. They didn't have like the proper line of sight terrain. So what they did have was they had like a wall here, and then they just had like bits of terrain on here to represent a ruin. And I said like, yo, are we supposed to be pretending where the lines are? Because we had a piece of paper with it on, or do we play as is? And they were like, you play as is. So I was like, okay, that seems weird. I'll ask another TO. Hi, I just confirm. I've had someone tell me you play as is, we don't pretend where the walls are. Because I ran tournaments where I put tape on the acrylic so people knew where they could hide behind. So it looked shit, but it was like it worked. It was fine. And the whole point is every time we had a bit more terrain because we kept investing. But we put tape on the terrain so we knew where to put the buildings. And you knew roughly where the buildings were supposed to be. But they had this and they were just like, yeah, play it as is. So he hid his knights. I'm going to do it the other side just so it's easy to see. He had his knights all behind here. Okay. Hiding. Like war dog spam or whatever. Which is pretty good at the time. And then I just fucking dropped a drop pod here. And got my little guys out. And then I was like, I guess what? I got loads of fucking melters and grav cannons in these, and I've got 2 units in both drop pods. So I'm just going to kill all these in turn 1, and then I'm going to walk up here, draw a line of sight to that one, and kill this one as well. So it was like the terrain then at Warhammer World was bad, but like now today, is that so much of a problem? Like, every army can technically alpha strike if we don't put terrain on the board or we run terrain like this, you know? But, like, we don't really do that anymore. Just a reference, if this guy had more terrain on the board, as he should have, he would have had, like, a big wall here. So he didn't have this, I don't think, or whatever. It was just like a straight line. So he could have hid knights here, he could have hid knights there, and then when I drop, I'm much further back, which means I wouldn't be able to see. I mean, like here, meaning my line of sight is much more obscured. I'll be able to see through there, that's it. Maybe click this one, but that one wouldn't need to deploy there. It could have deployed here, you know? I'm sure he's talking historically, whether on purpose or from previous discussion. The upshot now is terrible terrain, which somewhat fixed the problem mechanically, but now game looks/feels shite. Yeah. There is an argument that there is too much terrain on the board at the minute that makes the game look bad, makes it feel bad. But yeah, it's like I think the problem is that the terrain, the particular look of the terrain is a problem rather than the terrain itself, you know. But then again, loads of people just complain about L, so you can never win.
One of the things I find interesting about the differences between IGO-UGO and alternate activation is that in alternate activation, the length of a turn stays roughly the same throughout the course of the game, but in IGO-UGO it fluctuates from round to round. In alternate activation, each turn is to activate a single unit, so a turn will always take roughly the same amount of time. As units become destroyed, it just means less turns are taken overall rather than those turns becoming shorter. The pace of the back and forth between the players stays consistent. IGO-UGO, on the other hand, because all of a player's units are activated at once, the fewer the units on the battlefield, the quicker the turn becomes. If you were to map out the length and impact of a turn in a game such as Warhammer 40,000, I think it would look something like this, with the longest and most impactful turns at the start of the battle. In fact, this steady...
Again, the turn 2 and 1 and 2 need swapping, you know? If we're talking about Warhammer right now, I think turn 1 and 2 need swapping over, you know. Turn 1 is probably one of the fastest turns in the game a lot of the time, you know. It's usually, I'm going to shuffle, grab objectives, you're going, mate. You know. It seems, am I being crazy? Is this the problem with Games Workshop? He doesn't work there anymore, but this is an inside thought process of people making their games. Why are they worried about turn 1 so much? It's poo. It's the big poo. I can't score objectives turn 1. I can't shoot because my opponent's behind walls. You know? What am I doing in turn 1? Nothing. Making a couple of decisions about where I'm going to go turn 2. Turn 2 and 3 are the longest turns, surely. Especially turn 2, because that's where combat happens, and then you're both rolling dice. I feel like I'm, like, going crazy. Alpha Strike is haunting it. Yeah, it's just not a thing. I mean, I suspect they're not looking at it from a competitive sense, but more casual. Yeah, I suppose. But even, like... Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't feel like I am, but maybe I am. Even in, like, a casual setting, what are you doing in turn 1? Your opponent's behind a wall. Turn 2 is where the action happens. Not even just in competitive, just in Warhammer. You still spend ages in turn 1 moving or waiting for your opponent to move. Yeah, but you're only moving, you know what I mean? Think of all that time spent not shooting, not charging. Surely that makes turn 2 longer. Turn 1's like a quick turn. They just think you're moving, shooting, charging, fighting, everything, every turn. Yeah, which is just not the case. Which I think would be a more interesting discussion if you're like, round 1, actually, the big poo. Turn 1, I might get to nail the unit as left cover if I'm going second. Even in super casual games, turn 2 is the action. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that.
Decline might not be quite right. At its worst, it can look something more akin to this. I think we've all experienced games that have played out like this. Here we have 2 incredibly crunchy and impactful rounds right at the start, in which...
Nope. Nope. It should be... This one should be lower than 2. This one should be extremely low.
Most of the action takes place, and once the dust settles, well, there's just a few quick turns left to play out in often what is already a decided game. I don't think for even the most ardent fans of I Go You Go this is the overall pacing they want to see. It's all piled up towards the start of the game, and most...
Turn 1 friendly, so chatting, so it takes longer. Turn 3 onwards, one person gets beaten, doesn't want to chat, so quick turn 4. Even if you're chatting, you know, I don't know if that's the... I think they don't... Is that really relevant to the... You're chatting in both activations, you know what I mean? Both types. The graph is so 9th edition. Yeah, the graph is very 9th edition.
Importantly, turn 1 is too impactful. I think if we were to map out the ideal turn pacing for a 5-round I Go You Go wargame, we would want something that looks closer to this. Here the action rises. The first turns are quick to play through.
This, I would say, is how games go, unless there's a whitewash. This is how my games tend to go. Sometimes, turn 4 are extremely short because turn 3 has been crazy. I'm like, maybe. To be fair, I just said that's exactly how you want games to go. Yeah, this is how you want them to go. Isn't this just how they go? Is it? Am I based? Am I playing perfect games every time? Am I hashtag based? Hashtag, I don't know. I got another hashtag. I said hashtag out loud. I'm such a millennial.
Meaning both players get stuck into the action relatively quickly, and it builds up to a pivotal center point in the game on round 3. And there are some I Go You Go wargames that follow this pacing. At its best, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, or the Old World, has this pacing, and it...
No, it does not. No, it does not. Warhammer Old World Fantasy Battles does not have that. It has Alpha Strike. Old World has so much Alpha Strike, or like hard counter. It's like I will let you move your units. Now I will charge you in the side, and you'll lose that unit.
Manages to accomplish this despite the first turn being the time when the most units are on the battlefield, and the way it achieves this is by limiting the impact of the units on turn 1. A first turn in classic Warhammer or the Old World can be completed relatively quickly. Regiments push forward, jockeying into position, a few spells are cast, a cannon shot is fired, and then it's over to the other player's turn. This means both players get stuck into actually playing, making decisions and rolling dice relatively quickly. As I mentioned a few moments ago, I think of particular importance is how long does it take for both players to have had at least one turn. So despite there being lots of units on the battlefield, the length of the turn is kept minimal by reducing the impact of units in those earlier turns. Units are simply not yet in range. They're not in range to charge. Missile troops need to wait for the enemy to move into firing.
Bro's not playing against double dragon, double necrosphinx, and double scarabs, double scorpions, and tomb kings. You know what I mean? I go second, I charge you turn 1. I go first, I push into you and get ready to get charged turn 1. You know? Like, clearly not playing against the double dragon alpha, you know? That's got an alpha strike. Has he played dwarves? Yeah, just stand and shoot, or just stand and fucking move my big line in the way. Is this a re-upload from 9th edition? I would postulate he stopped playing mid-9th and makes videos about it instead. That would make so much more sense, Tom. I really liked his feedback loop video, but I don't agree with the mindset of him setting up at all. Which obviously then will cause an issue with the rest of the video when he's using it as reference. I love his videos, but I just come away frustrated by GW every time I watch. He always says something that makes you realise how out of touch they are about the thing he's talking about. Yeah, I'm just like, this is wrong. What do you mean? What game are you playing that I'm not? You know? Like I said, because of the fact that, like, if Games Workshop are like saying you should use this amount of terrain in tournaments, right? But then they're not really using that when they're making the game. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, what is happening? Like, don't suggest an amount of terrain and then just use it in your tournaments. You should be testing the game on that. So there's enough terrain on the table to not get alpha striked in 10th edition. And it hasn't been the case for a long time since we had those, you know. When did he leave GW? Most of the experience may actually come from 9th edition. Because wasn't his last few years in AOS and Warcraft? Yeah, he left like last year, I think. Maybe this year. He left not long after Spearhead came out. Because he kind of went, I designed Spearhead. I'm leaving. So yeah, like a lot of the thought process of like understanding the game that we're commenting on is outdated, it feels like. Not to like critique it, I think he's a lovely guy, don't get me wrong. I like his insight, but I'm having an issue with this video in particular of like saying all of the problems with this rules design, but they're not the problems, you know? Game design versus game reality is something that will always every time be helped. Yeah, but like that would talk about the things that like they're designing, but you're saying that this is the reality, you know? Is it because the reality doesn't fit the narrative of the video, so we're changing the reality ever so slightly? I'm getting not annoyed, but just like frustrated because I'm just like, no, this isn't correct. This isn't the game. How odd. I'm sure he's like very insightful, you know what I mean? And talk about how Spearhead / Combat Patrol boxes are determined by product team, and then the rules team just have to jog on and build a game around. That is still insane to me. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's that's because it's just a bundle discount. It's like put a character in there, put a couple of units in there. It's a starter army. It's not a starter army. It's models that physically work in a box that are also affordable that they can make money from. You know. But yeah, that's why they have like Spearhead has such stripped down rules sometimes, and half the army doesn't turn up until 10-3. He appears to be talking about checkers, but we're all playing chess. Yeah, it feels that way. Like, again, I don't want to discredit him because I think he's I really liked his other video, and I've liked I think I've watched another one that I really. No, I don't think. I think I've only watched the one about Spearhead. Actually, I wanted to watch the one with Warcry, but this one was like interesting because like the activation system is a conversation that's constantly being brought up. But yeah, like he's talking about checkers. We're playing chess because I'm, you know. Actually, mate, to Wednesday stream. Welcome, Justice, dude. Hope you're doing well. I'm sure the Spearheads and combat patrols would look different if the rules team had control over the contents. Yeah, they'd look crazy different, but not in a good way.
Range, and things like cannons are curtailed in list building. I think over time, games like Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar have had their pacing stray from this to what we see today, something that looks more akin to this. And there have been a number of different factors that have...
I just want to say, to add to the drama, okay, personally don't have an issue. But you're saying, wait, I'm moving backwards. I think I'm moving backwards. I can see it moving. Or am I going high? You're saying the game looks like this, should look like this, but it looks like this. You were writing Age of Sigmar and you openly kept in the double 10. You want to talk about this? And you kept in the double 10? I'd have a problem with double 10 personally, but I'm just a bit flabbergasted that we're saying the game doesn't look like this, it looks like this. Well, it doesn't, but in Age of Sigmar, you could argue opponent versus me, when they get the double 10, what are we playing at? You know what I mean? It doesn't look like this anymore. It doesn't Age of Sigmar. It doesn't look like this, Age of Sigmar. We could do my opponent's turn compared to mine when they get the double. The Iron Hands box confirms it helps move poor sellers to FML. Yeah, isn't it 2 Fire Strike servo turrets? Not been seen on the table for donkeys. Crazy times.
And there have been a number of different factors that have contributed to this, from smaller battlefield sizes to increased movement rates and maneuverability, less impactful cover rules, and of course, larger army sizes in general. This has all added up over the years and can mean at its worst, these games open with a first turn that's like a high noon shootout, and whoever is faster on the draw comes out on top. And I think that's why there's been this growing criticism of I go, you go, especially in recent years. Of course, there is another way to solve these pacing issues, and that is to use a different activation system, such as alternate activations. But alternate activation also comes with its own set of problems and its own inherent weaknesses. And the biggest of these is the problem of lopsided activations. That is, what do you do when one side has significantly more units to activate than the other? Well, you could just let it run its course, and that's what I did with Warcry, but that's not a path that I would recommend. Warcry has a lot of good things going for it, but the issues around lopsided warbands is a very valid criticism of its design and probably one of its biggest weaknesses. In Warcry, when sides are mismatched, the more numerous warband can bait out all of the actions of the smaller warband by activating inconsequential fighters to begin with. Once the smaller force is out of activations, the player controlling the more numerous side then takes all of their remaining actions uninterrupted. Essentially, they get a big turn at the end, which kind of boils the game back down into I go, you go, but with all...
That's what I said. Not pre-watch, honest. But yeah, like with Warcry and stuff like that, and like Kill Team as well, if you have like something big and nasty, but then you have loads of shit, you just activate all the shit, keep it nice and safe, do nothing with it, and then when they finish, you go, right, okay, I'm gonna do all my shit now with all my big cool stuff and kill you, and get my own turn where I activate 6 units and you activate none. But then because it's alternate activation, there's no reactiveness, so you can't do shit about it. But Warcry, arguably one of their best games.
all of the advantages just favouring one player. They can direct fighters onto needed objectives or dogpile an enemy fighter without fear of getting attacked back. So this is the biggest issue with alternate activations, but it's far from an insurmountable problem. There are many games that use alternate activations and have a design mechanic within them to navigate this issue. They tackle this problem in many creative ways, and the solution you pick is going to give your game's alternate activation a different flavour to the rest. One example is the approach taken by bolt action. Here both players put a number of dice into a shared bag equal to the number of units on the battlefield, and each turn a dice is drawn at random. If it is one of your dice, you activate one of your units. This adds an unpredictability to the game. Sometimes a player will get to activate a few units in sequence, other times there will be this back and forth, but the unknown element adds excitement and surprise.
That just sounds awful. No, shout out to Warlords. I'm sure you're doing great things, but alternate activation, but we draw from a bag. Sounds awful. Like, imagine it just so happens that you draw out this. You've got 6 units each, and you draw out 5 red ones, which are your opponents, and then 1 blue one, and then another red one from yours. So that is completely random though. So I guess, like, you know, as many times as it happens to you, it could happen to them. It's not a tactical thing that you can control. Legion, I don't know if they still do it, but Legion used to do it in a fun way where you put all your tokens in a bag for all your types of units. So let's say leaders, battle line, like heavy. And then you randomly draw one out when it's your turn. So you always get your own turn, because Legion is alternate activations, and you're probably going to see some Legion content on the channel soon. They have alternate activations, but you draw your token from a bag. So if you pull a commander, you can activate one of your commanders. You know, you pull your battle line, you activate any of your battle line, and you just keep going until you run out. But that's, again, the same issue. If you have way more than your opponent, you know, then you just kind of wait for them to activate most of their stuff. Then you want to activate your bigger stuff, but you can't control what's activating first because it's out of a bag, it's random. But you can go, oh, I've drawn a troop, I'll activate a shit troop first compared to this one that's slightly better. So that's a way to deal with the alternate activation with having slop, you know what I mean? Instead of just activating the slot first, then your actual good shit. Making it slightly random is a good way to do it. But I don't like the alternate activations from a bag with my opponent. I like the idea of having to activate random units.
The solution is the simple one like kill teams. Here, once one side has fully activated, they can activate any of their fighters a second time, but when they do so, they only make a single action, be it a dash for cover or a desperate shot.
That's
I
good.
really like this approach because it makes your heroic
I do think kill
fighters
teams
generally
good.
behave more heroically on the battlefield. When given the chance to activate a fighter a second time, it's probably going to be your leader to get them stuck in combat, or your fighter with a heavy weapon. It can also give some rubber banding to the game, helping the player on the back foot with fewer fighters by giving them a chance to act again. So both systems come with a different...
And that feels better, because if you got like 4, 5 decent stuff and they've got like 10 not as good but 10 of them, the fact that like a space marine can keep activating is quite cool, and it makes like thematic sense. So I do like that idea. Like, as someone who's played very little kill team, I do think it's a pretty good system then.
Feel. I go, you go with it.
It's just like the orders thing I don't get. Like I'm stealth, so now you can't see me, and now you can. I don't get that bit.
Its grand strategy and alternate activations with its nail-biting tactics. Both two come with their own inherent problems. The pacing of I go, you go can create death spirals. It can allow unsatisfying wombo combos, and also it can just bore the opponent who has to stand around waiting for their turn. Alternate activations, on the other hand, can start to fall apart if there's a big difference on the amount of units each player has on their side. So as a games designer, when you're designing a war game, you need to take both the strengths of these systems and the weaknesses into account when deciding which one is right for your game. But while both offer a different feel and both have their own strengths and weaknesses, I think it would be a little boring of me just to sit on the fence. I promised you guys a throwdown. So which do I think is the better system of the two? For me,
He's going to say alternate activations because he made war crime.
pacing issues of I go, you go are too much of a detriment. There are
No, wrong. Wrong. I go, you go is beast. I go, you go is king. Alternate activation is cringe. I want to feel powerful, okay? I want to feel powerful and I want to do damage. I prefer strategy over tacticality. Tactical. I want to feel cool and powerful, you know? I want my army to function as an army. I don't want my army to function as one guy individually, you know? So I think I go you go is better. However, reactions become crucial. Being able to react to your opponent's turn becomes crucial because you can't just sit around for 3 hours and an hour and a half of that be watching your opponent kill your models, you know? Dan, we still watching this video? Oh, 15 minutes in, it's 40 minutes long. If you want to feel cool, why don't you play Space Marines? Right, okay, shut the fucking chat today. Fucking chat. Ugh! I hate them. Insulting my Space Marines, my cool guys, my cool dudes in armor.
Ways to mitigate them, sure, as discussed above, but it is a very fine balancing act. And even if you do pull it off, I Go You Go has such a bad rep among many gamers now that many will simply check out.
Amongst the casuals, they hate I Go You Go, not based gamers like me, not based power gamers like me. I'm a power user of Warhammer, you know what I mean? That's what they say. They say you're a power user of something. I am a power user of being really cool. Okay, shut up. All right, I get it. Kill Team has throughout its edition been an excellent game. Unfortunately, it doesn't sell enough models. Yeah, that's why they make broken 40k rules so every single box sells out. It's even worse, Kayari. He plays Blood Ravens, which are like the sticky-fingered dregs marines. I'm turning chat off. I'm turning chat off today. Mikey just wants I Go, you die. I can't wait for Thursday decks. It'll be great. We're gonna have a great time. Where are the Deathwatch rules for real though? I know. The fact that Deathwatch hasn't come out with rules is crazy. I can't wait for everyone to convert their new Primaris Deathwatch kill teams to have like multiple hammers and shields and multiple frag cannons for them to go, yeah, we'll update the rules now.
As soon as they hear that's what a game is using. So if I were to design a war game from scratch, I would almost always use alternate activation as my starting point. I think in their purest forms it is the better system, which is why it is so ubiquitous with skirmish war games that you see today. I would only consider I Go You Go if the strategic feel is of paramount importance. Say for example the game you're designing is one about commanding a Roman legion or a Napoleonic army, and you want
or a cool Space Marine army. Hell yes, dude. Hell yeah, bro. There's a real hipster vibe to alternate activation crowd. Yeah, it's kind of like being a 3D printer or being a vegan, you know what I mean? You kind of got to tell people every 30 seconds or you will implode.
The player to be executing grand battlefield maneuvers that alternate activation cannot offer. But even in those cases, I would consider a hybrid system between the two. And that brings me on to the next part in this video. What other activation systems are out there? One way I like to think of I Go You Go and alternate activation is as either end of a spectrum. On the one side is I Go You Go, where you activate all your units on your turn, and this gives
alternate activation players on the Linux gaming will take over Windows any day now, crowd.
the game a strategic feel. On the other side, alternate activations, where you activate just a single unit and the game has a more tactical feel. There's this whole space in the middle, and that space is filled with many unique systems that offer a middle ground between the two. They help to avoid the pitfalls of pure I Go You Go while retaining a bit of its strategic feel. Here are some other activation systems of note. The first activation system is one I'm going to call unreliable activations. You see this in games such as Lion and Dragon Rampant and in War Master. Here the activation system is I Go You Go, but there's a twist. How many units you'll actually be able to activate on your turn is an unknown factor. Both of these games have you make an activation roll each time you activate a unit, and you can keep activating units from your army until you fail a certain number of rolls. What I like about systems such as these is it keeps that
That sounds fucking crazy. That sounds fucking crazy, bro. Imagine you go, I'm going to take my turn, and you just fail every single roll. What's the point? What's the point, bro?
Ebb and flow. One player is on the attack, the other is on the defense, but it makes for much quicker turns overall. It also gives an unpredictable...
Quicker turns. I brought 3,000 models, but I only got to activate 12 of them, so at least my game's over in an hour. Like at least my game's over an hour. I painted 3,000 models. I only got to use 12 of them, then died. Great. I love the activation system in Star Wars Crisis Protocol game. Yeah, the Star Wars Crisis Protocol game. Star Wars or Crisis Protocol is really good. In Star Wars Shatterpoint, you have a deck of cards, and you draw a card, and whatever card you draw, that's the character you activate. You can put one card per turn into hold, so you draw another card instead, but then next turn you have to activate the one you drew. And then there is the Shatterpoint, which is basically a Uno Reverso to any character. So you draw the Shatterpoint, you can activate any guy in the field. Which is, I think that's a really cool system as well. So it's kind of like the Legion in a bag, but with a little bit more control, because you don't have as many units, you know, because you only have like 6. He seems to be on the skirt along the edge of, it feels bad if you lose your model or don't get to use him. Then he's advocating for this in a different form. I don't know if he's advocating, I think he's explaining.
Nature to the game, and that won't appeal to everyone, but it does appeal to someone like me, and I think it emulates the chaotic reality of medieval warfare. Over on the other side of the spectrum, you could look at a game like Star Wars Legion. Star Wars Legion builds upon the bolt action style alternate activations with elements that incorporate a more strategic feel. Based on your commander leading your force, say Darth Vader or Princess Leia, you'll have a hand of command cards, and at the start of each round, each player plays a card from their hand. Every card has both an effect and an orders section, and the latter of these elements, the orders section, indicates which unit can be given order tokens. Once the round begins, play alternates between the players back and forth as standard for alternate activation. On a player's turn, they can either activate one of their units that has an order token or draw a token from their bag. Players do not have a shared bag like in bolt action. Instead, they each have their own bag, and each token randomly drawn corresponds to a different type of units.
Beats, we've not a pre-watch, already talked about this, but yes, I forgot about the command cards where you can steal the initiative by issuing less orders, but having what you definitely want activate at that point, and then you go back into the bag, you know? Legion, yeah, exactly, Deck, exactly. It's very good Battletech for 3 decades. I'm fairly on the alternate activation train. Tactics are less smooth brain and are less likely to get ruined by losing a load of units. Like I said, Battletech works really well because all the units, the variants of units are very similar. You know, the fact that all of them are big war machines makes sense, but in games like Warhammer, it doesn't work if you got a unit of like 5 scouts versus a Battletech mech or whatever.
A core unit or a heavy unit. This means that when you draw a random token, you do not know exactly which type of unit from your army you'll be able to activate, whereas the units with order tokens can be activated exactly when needed. This means you're able to exert some control on when your most crucial units will activate, but in doing so you also flag your intentions for the round to your opponent, and altogether this adds this great strategic layer to the game.
It makes that one sound like the best one, and I think it is pretty good. As an alternate activation system, I think that's probably one of the best ones, of being able to steal the initiative or even forego the initiative to control more of the units you want to. But then in response, then your opponent knows what you're doing, but then you're in the bag, you know? See, as soon as you start saying cards, I just throw my phone over the shoulder. Yeah, that's fair. So there is a small hand of cards just at the start of the initiative, which is the initiative phase, where you decide who's gonna issue commands, etc. There's not, unless you can't really do it outside of doing it in your head. You know what I mean? There's not really good ways to do it.
System you commonly see in larger battle games such as Epic Armageddon, Legions Imperialis, and the last iteration of Warhammer 40,000 Apocalypse is one of alternating detachments. Here, instead of activating all or one of your units, you instead activate a contingent, say a quarter of your army at a time. This is a great way of striking the perfect midpoint between IGO, UGO, and alternate activations. And these systems usually add extra layers.
This is just IGO, UGO with extra steps, right? You know, like making detachments super units and they activate together. This is just IGO, UGO with extra steps. This stops the alpha strike because you only activate a quarter of your army at a time, but it's still the same.
Such as issuing orders to each contingent at the start of the round to determine in
yes,
what
Dave,
order they
exactly.
can activate. What's great about systems like this is at the start of every round it feels very, very strategic, especially in those systems where you can choose an order or something like that for your contingents. But then as the round plays out and you get to see what your opponent is doing, you start to change your plans, you start to react to what they're doing, and so it takes on this nuance of tactics towards the end of each round as well. The last system I want to draw attention.
Yeah, so that's like we said, like Apocalypse, we activated super units together, detachments all at the same time. But it's just IGO, UGO with like limiting how much you can activate in one turn. Essentially, it's a game with more turns. It's essentially an alternate activation with IGO, UGO wrapped together. It's the same. It's basically the same.
To is the one featured in the Middle-earth strategy battle game. Rather than trying to seek a midpoint between IGO, UGO and alternate activation, this system instead takes the phase structure of a typical Warhammer game and flips it on its head. Instead of the different phases such as moving and shooting happening inside a player's turn, the turns instead happen inside each phase. In other words, it's not IGO, UGO, but I move, you move. I shoot, you shoot, and so on. This means there is this constant back and forth between the players, but players can also still execute these big and satisfying strategic maneuvers, such as the heroic charge of the Rohirrim. Alright, so we've looked at lots of different activation systems.
Yeah, Middle-earth game only gets good. I've never really heard anything bad about it. You know, I've never really heard anyone like critique the nuance of Middle-earth strategy battle game. Like every other game. Obviously, there's a smaller pool of players to draw from, but it's only ever had good praise. But I think it only works for that type of game because you have epic heroes and then a few units. It's a relatively small game. So, I've only ever heard good things about it.
Now, and we've compared the two big ones, IGO, UGO.
I would say like Middle-earth is like skirmish plus, you know. You don't really get large battles with it. I've never heard anything bad about it, but I've also never heard anything about it. Yeah, I think like Middle-earth is like skirmish plus, where it's like not really an army game. It's kind of got elements of army games, but it's mostly hero battles, you know.
Alternate activation. And while I've said that both of them have their own weaknesses, for me the pacing issues of IGO, UGO make it the worst system out of the two. So with all that being said, I think people will be curious on my thoughts as to why a game like Warhammer 40,000 or Age of Sigmar hasn't adopted a system like alternate activations. So that's what I want to talk about in
when I clicked on this video, I really did, but then when you started talking about the problems with Alpha Strike in Warhammer and one-bar combos, just made me feel like you might not. Maybe I don't know what your opinion because it's wrong. I'm gonna listen to it, but I'm just concerned now. I'm just a little concerned. Still live, jeez. Do you want me to just turn off? Do you not like me being live? Do you not like watching me stream? What's that supposed to mean? Still live, jeez. I'll just go fuck myself, shall I?
the next part of this video. A quick caveat, I don't speak for the studio in any regard. I haven't worked at Games Workshop for about 6 months. What I'm about to tell you just relates to the 7 years that I worked there. And while I might not be able to give an answer that satisfies everyone, I'm going to try my best. So nowadays, when releasing new games, especially new skirmish games, the studio tends to favour alternate activations. We've seen that with Kill Team, Warcry, Underworld and Necromunda. But not just the skirmish games too. Games like Legion Imperialis and the last edition of Apocalypse, they favoured alternating detachments over IGO-UGO. So
now, not to discredit everything, but like a lot of those games do successful, but a lot of those games he's mentioned were skirmish or dead. A lot of those games were skirmish, alternate activations, or, like we said, when did Apocalypse come out? Over 7 years ago? Do they even sell the rulebook anymore? Do they sell the rulebook anymore? Legion Imperialis isn't dead. No, come on now. Come on. It's okay. You're allowed to enjoy dead games, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to critique you for playing a dead game, and I don't think the reason it's dead is your fault. But, like... It don't even... Apocalypse doesn't even show up here anymore, so that's a dead game. And Imperialis, I've seen it played twice. You know? Legio Imperialis has a tiny following. Very good. So the ones that he's describing as alternate activation army games are the ones that are either not very popular or not made anymore.
So why don't the flagship games move over to a similar system? Well, straight away, you can make a case for the feel of the game. And I would say there are many who want the feel of the game to be strategic. And I think this is because both games are...
I see it played every weekend. If you're playing the game, that's not you seeing it played. If you're the one at the table, that doesn't count.
From Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Even if 40k is science fiction, it's also a universe where knights with swords and shields make heroic charges. But this sort of argument is very subjective in my opinion. Sure, there might be many people that want the game to have a strategic feel, but there could be equally as many people that want the game to have a tactical feel. So I won't dwell on this point so much. Instead, let's push forward and think, what would moving over to alternate activation be like for the games? Well, firstly, I think the diverse nature of armies in 40k and Age of Sigmar presents a big design challenge when thinking about how the game might work in alternate activations. Now, as said, this is...
Which we've kind of already said, which is I think why the Apocalypse system would be the only way to do it, but they don't act as a unit, they just activate at the same time. That would be the only way to do it, I go, you go. I don't know if I need to watch the rest of this video, because I think that's pretty much all he's going to say, is that when you have like big shit and little shit all activating... or alternate activating, it doesn't work. So you need a system that's kind of like I go, you go, but just limits how much you can activate in one turn.
An insurmountable problem, and many implementations of alternate activation have approached this issue with creative and fun solutions, but there are few, if any, of those games that have as diverse a roster as the big Warhammer games. In these games, armies can have as few as 4 or 5 units to their side, see Imperial Knights or Mega Gargants. On the other hand, you have armies where the battlefield is flooded with cheap chaff, as in a green tide list. And as an example, I'm not sure if Bolt Action's dice in a bag system would be that exciting to play through if one player has 5 times as many dice in the bag as the other. Furthermore, no matter which of the solutions you go for lopsided forces, they all bring with them their own inherent problems too. One criticism levelled at Bolt Action's dice system is that it can lead to something called list padding, where the cheapest units are added to a list just to get another dice in the bag. If this system was added to 40k...
So that just becomes Alpha Strike once again. You know? You essentially have to just rewrite everything from the ground up to adapt to 40k. Yeah, the game would just be fundamentally just completely different. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be 40k. It'd be 40k. It wouldn't even be 11th edition or 12th edition. It'd be just 40k 2. You know? Legion Imperialis is just for golden demon painters to flex their skills. No hate, it's impressive to paint them small. No, exactly. Like, I want nothing against people who enjoy Legion Imperialis. It's just not very popular because it had a terrible launch. You know? They really fucked the launch with it. Just like they did Heresy. Isn't dead, but it suffers from a lack of support. Content creators are terrified of making content about it. I don't think content creators are terrified of making content about it. It's just there will be people who really enjoy it who want to make content, and there'll be people who make content who like success. You know? I don't think it's that people are scared about making content for it. It's just content's time intensive, you know what I mean? Unless you start watching someone else's video on a live stream. And because it's such a small game and there's not as many releases for it, there's so much less to talk about. You know? The dice tokens in a bad shared system is bad in my opinion. It just encourages spam or really skew lists. Yeah. The main problem with Legion Imperialis is getting an army on the field is freaking slog. Yeah, you need quite a lot, don't you, as well? Even if they are small, You're still going to spend time with them because they're small. They're going to take you longer to paint. Ironically, bigger models can be painted much faster because there's so much more tricks you can do compared to a small thing where you can't really do the tricks because they're so small. You can't like mask off and spray a colour and then like mask that off and spray a different colour because it's so small. What are you going to mask it off with?
Would we usher in a new meta of the battlefield being flooded with cheap foot heroes hiding at the back behind some ruins just to guarantee an early activation of an important unit each round? Another thing standing in the way of introducing alternate activations is for all the people clamoring to bring in a system like this. The data says that Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar have never been as big as they are right now, and that's by a considerable margin. The games have grown massively over the past 10 years. They have never been as popular as they are right now, and tournament attendance is at an all-time high as well. That means there are many people.
Plus, some of the raids going multiple parts of Imperialis, which is bonkers. Yeah. I still remember we filmed that Painted Legion Imperialis video. We were going to try and do it in a day. And then the game got delayed by 6 months. We sat on that footage for ages. And then I just never got around to editing it. So then I changed the video completely. Because we were like, we'll do another day. And then it got delayed that day. It was like, oh, well, another day won't be now. Because what's the point? We don't know when it's going to come out. So we fucking painted it all. And then, but while we were building it, I still remember Andy dropping a missile launcher from a marine that's this big, dropping a separate missile launcher on the floor. So we just stuck a piece of sprue on it and no one noticed. You know, it's in the video that I ended up doing, the one where I turned Heresy into a tiny game board, which is, you know, really fun. Which I still have. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to throw it away because it seems like a waste, but I don't know what to do with it now. Chat, what should I do with a tiny Horus Heresy game? It's just a tiny magnetic Heresy game. I don't know what to do. Yeah, the problem is we didn't... They're just so small, so tiny, so dumb. Like, why is it multiple parts? Put on display, it's probably too big for him to put it anywhere. You know? It's too big to put anywhere. And the frame probably needs painting, to be fair. I was really proud of it, though. It was a really fun project. It just took it didn't even took ages. It just, I bought the wrong shit, and then I managed to do it properly afterwards. I fucked about in my circular saw in my front room. It was fun, though. I just didn't have the space to do it properly. But yeah, I don't know what to do. It's just sat in the other room, just stacked up on something. Can't remember.
Out there enjoying the game as it currently is, and a big shake-up like this could cause them to lose the game that they love. An example I would give is 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons, a system that brought with it many modern game design trends at the time that seemed like a good idea, and it was a very well polished system, but its stark difference to what had come before ended up fracturing the player base, alienating a big portion of it until the game returned closer to its roots again with 5th edition. However, that's not to say the numbers are the be-all and end-all of the argument. It can be frustrating to have your arguments hit this brick wall of numbers and data. And the obvious riposte is, despite the game's current popularity, couldn't they be even more popular if it adopted a better system like alternate activations? For some, it may seem like the studio is stubbornly sticking to I Go You Go on its flagship games, or that the designers are oblivious to other systems and they're not even...
I don't think they're oblivious. I just think they're stubborn because they're scared of stock prices, you know. I do think it's a stock price thing. I think they don't want to kick everyone off. I'll take it off your hands. I just don't know what to do with it. I want to do something with it, but I just don't know what that is. I can't really give it away unless it's in person because it's so big. I don't really want to ship it. I could give it away at a team event. The team event sold out, so yeah. But does anyone want it? You know what I mean?
even being considered. But my experience is that couldn't be further from the truth. The Warhammer design studio...
My favourite thing I ever did with that Legion Imperialis is the tiny game board I did, you know, to say that I got it. I don't know. I put a picture on Instagram ages ago. That was the favourite thing I did. I put it on a tiny battle mat. I know that's kind of like what I did with Heresy, but I just thought it looked cute with I put like paint pots as terrain and stuff. I thought that's cool. Yeah, why has Instagram got 6 across? I'm gonna be able to scroll through so fast. When did it come out? When did it come out? Like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. That was a year ago. That was last year. That was last June. It was like the November before that. It's like I'm not far away. That was March. That was January. When did it come out? Oh, that's why I did the sponge in. That one. There it is. This is the cutest thing I ever did with it. I thought this was sick. It wasn't that popular. Got 0 comments. But I thought this was fun. This is the best thing I ever did with Legions Imperialis. Oh, behind the scenes on chapter approved. What? What's that? Nope, not that one. This week on Warhammer TV, there are 3 new shows to watch while you're building a painting. Oh, so I can't actually watch it. Oh. How it rolls the most recent is all about the most recent chapter approved 2025-2026 mission deck. The prime way you play match playing competitive 140k. This new deck changes things up by replacing secret missions with the new challenges system. It provides players who slip behind invention points and new mission powerful strategies to equal the odds. Bro, they got rid of it! They just got rid of it! Oh, bro! How can you make a video and have this as part of the selling point when they just fucked it off? They just got rid of it because Jack Harmson says you're not allowed to have any fun. Ah, for God's sake. For God's sake. Wait, oh, that's Old World. I thought it was Apocalypse. Oh my God, I've never seen something so dumb. But they'll be like, actually, it's only out of the game in tournaments, and then, like, no one plays it. No one. Ugh. I'm so mad. No one's watching it anyway. I'm sure it's an interesting video, but it'd be like, yeah, we really liked adding it'll be loads about challenger cards, because that's the new talking point. That's the new thing from chapter approved. It's going to be a 20-minute video about challenger cards. And 1,000 points, maybe. Great. And it's on Warhammer Plus, so you can't watch it. I can, but I'm not going to watch it on stream. Because that will just be leaking paid for content and I'll get sued to high heaven.
Represents a cross-section of the wider gaming community. Walking around, you'll see things like someone's Infinity project on their desk next to their latest Warhammer 40,000 project. Or you'll hear people in the tea room getting excited by Trench Crusade. Almost any miniature game out there, there are fans of that game inside the studio, and after work I've seen a variety of games being played, anything from A Song of Ice and Fire through to Spectre Operations. So whenever the studio is working on a new game, or it's working on a new edition of one of the flagship games, lots of ideas from other games are brought forward and discussed. They are talked about, they're looked at, they're drafted up, and that includes activation systems as well.
Trench Crusade mentioned for the algo. Bro, we're 25 minutes in. And he's kind of lost me, I'll be honest. I won't lie, chat. I'm thinking about a way to click off this video because he has lost me. Because I just don't think... I don't think he's right about a lot of things in this instance. But yeah, imagine it. Games Workshop Studio playing base Trench Crusade where there's no wokes allowed? Question mark. They hate the fans. That video was filmed ages ago. Nick has since left the Warhammer Plus team. Has he actually? Has he actually? Fucking hell, dude. No, I have Warhammer Plus. I just can't watch it on stream, I mean. I can't watch it on stream because it's a paid content. Yeah, I just don't... I feel like a lot of his what's got to say, the detachment idea is fun. But like the turn thing has thrown me off. Ever since I've been struggling to like focus on it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I saw they were hiring for Warhammer Plus again. They are fucking churning through people there. They are churning through people. It's crazy. Really reason to click off the video. Have you seen the Corridor Crew episode 188 with the talk around the Dawn of War intro and the Amazon episode with the director? No. From what I've heard, Warhammer TV is bad for creatives. Yeah, it's terrible. I'm not surprised. The amount of charisma voids who couldn't even speak to a room, let alone a camera for thousands, are never short of slagging off Warhammer Plus presenters. Are you talking about me, Kazarone? That's rude. Bro, can't believe you just said that to me. I could talk to a camera. I'm in a room by myself. Also, those of the show can see how many subscribers there are and how little the cut they get is. Yeah, like being... I always think like the idea of being a content creator for a wage is really weird. No, if anything, too much bears like turn it down. True. I think the idea of being like a waged content creator is extremely odd. You know, like working for someone else to then see them get great success, you know, and see how much money's coming in, and you still get the same amount of money, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like if you're buying into like a channel or whatever as a content creator is like makes way more sense in my head to be like, you know, like on payroll, if that makes sense. I think the idea of being a content creator on payroll is really weird. Is that just me? Is that like a crazy take? You know, like Games Workshop is an example. I think Tabletop Time are the same as well. They're all like on a monthly salary and stuff. And it's just like it seems weird because like on the one hand, as someone on a salary, it's much safer, obviously, because you get like normal wages, pension, etc., holidays. But like in like content creation, it takes the you out of YouTube if you're part of a company that gets paid a wage. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Where like kind of like the idea of what I'm trying to get across. I'm not saying that people are bad for doing it, whatever. I personally just think it's odd. Some people need the stability. No, I totally agree. I think people do need stability, but like, yeah, it seems weird to be like a YouTuber on a wage, you know? Like, yeah, I think like being a creative on a wage is also weird, but there we go. It's not dissimilar to working as a contractor versus salaried, higher ceiling but less security. Yeah, I don't think like the way people are paid is weird. I think the fact that there are people who are kind of like paid a monthly salary, go to work at 9, leave at 5, that are YouTubers just seems odd because like the idea of YouTube is very different to when it was when it first came out. You know what I mean? It's probably my own thought process being kind of like behind the times, but it's like being like a fully controlling part of what goes on the channel is like what a channel should be, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Rather than kind of like, right, today you're making a video about why 40k is cringe, or like you're making a video on why the alternate activation is bad for 40k. In response to this video, that's what I want you to do as your boss. That seems really weird, you know what I mean? It's quite hard to be a personality when you're tied to a company. Can't exactly be a person in that scenario. Yeah, exactly. And you see it all the time. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to name any particular names, but there's certain channels that like do one type of content and then they do a slightly different type of content where it's more talky, and it's like that you can see the power dynamic between the two people, because one of them's the boss and one of them isn't, you know. And I kind of get, I'm listening to a podcast or listening to a live show or whatever, I'm listening to a podcast and them talking, and I can hear the dynamic, and I hate it, you know, because it shouldn't be like that, because it's like an entertaining video. It's supposed to be like back and forth between the two, but it's like, oh, I have a point, and then the other person goes, well, I think you're wrong, and you go, you know what, you're so right, because you pay my bills, you know, you pay my wage at the end of the month. It just seems odd, you know. It's not a crazy take. I got offered work by a company doing what I do for TCGs, but the restrictions and wage weren't worth losing the flexibility of as a freelancer. Yeah, I just think like it's just like a weird dynamic where like, yeah, like you are running the channel, you're the face of the channel, but you don't own the channel. I think that's weird. It's like working for the council. You can still keep your job. Well, not necessarily. If the fucking channel dies, then you lose your job as well. You can control the channel, and then you don't even get to continue on it, even though they continue to profit from your face, because views continue on videos for years on end, you know? If you're a YouTube personality within a larger group, it makes a degree of sense. Your own content might not necessarily be enough of a draw on its own, but as a part of a network. Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like it seems like odd, you know what I mean, to like have that like sort of dynamic as like the personality is and the boss, you know. And I don't know if it's like just them being bad because they shouldn't be kind of like getting that dynamic. YouTube alls can work, but then you still have your own channel. Yeah, like YouTube organizations make more sense. You know, like FaZe or whatever. Like that's like more Twitch, but like FaZe, they have an organization, FaZe, where they do stuff together, but like they all have their own thing. But now I'm talking about like specific channels in our space and wider as well. You know. But yeah, just like there was one I was listening to the other day, and it was like a podcast, and I'm trying to make it sure I'm not trying to like critique them specifically, but like as an example, I was listening to them, and someone was like, "Oh yeah," and then they were like talking. It was kind of like one of the people who's clearly not the boss, and the boss was on the podcast, the owner of the channel, was like, you could hear it, the way he spoke to them compared to the other people was very different. Yeah. So, and it's just like, yeah, it just came across as weird. It gave me the ick, I think. I think that's the best way to describe it. It gave me the ick. And I was just like, I own my own channel. You know, I do my own thing. I have my friends on the channel, but it's very much like, that's it. It's friends, you know what I mean? But they're not salaried. Sometimes they get paid for work, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, only I get paid by the channel, really. If the others get paid by me, you know. But like, it's not like a boss dynamic, because they're not, I guess because they're not salaried, you know what I mean? I'm not their boss. I'm their friend who's giving them money to help me with something, you know? It's kind of like paying someone to help you move house. It's more like that dynamic compared to like salaries and stuff. We get paid in special favors. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? If like, if people are helping me out with something, I'll try and repay them as much as possible. Whether that's physical money, if there's like sponsors and stuff, and if it's not, it's kind of like, here's some models. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just like, Yeah, it was weird. It was like, just the way he spoke, it was very like, it felt like I was in a meeting rather than listening to a podcast, which should be entertaining. It was like I was in a meeting, which was the weirdest thing. So yeah, I know that was a bit of a tangent, a bit of a ramble, but yeah, salaried YouTubers, weird. Are you a YouTuber? No. I was rated G doing in particular. Evidently, anyone actually ends up doing a roof here, so peachy. Yeah. They end up just doing their own thing. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. Weird. Anyway, chat, that's your gossip and drama for today. Ramblestorm Tangent Gaming. That's your drama gossip today, because there's like not a lot happening. And then the only video that I thought would have been interesting, I got annoyed at. You know? So I hope you enjoyed it. I did. But anyway, I'm going to go chill now because I've got Gundam in a little bit. I got Gundam, and chat, I won last week. I didn't tell you I won a Gundam event. Oh, chat, I forgot to tell you. I won my first Gundam event last week. Everyone say congrats, you're so good at Gundam. Everyone say, wow, Mikey, you're so good at Gundam. Wow, Mikey, you're so epic. Look. I won. You won them. I did won them. I pulled a really cool card. Do you want to see? Do you want to see the really cool card? This is my binder, by the way, chat. What do you think? What do you think to my binder? Do you think it's cool and epic? It's mostly G Fuel with a cheeky Warhammer sticker and then Gundam. Mikey, don't forget to be pandery. I love pandas. Yeah, chat, do you want to see my cool card I won? Sponsored by G Fuel. Who'd have guessed? Wow, look at that. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute, chat? So it comes with this little tag to say that it's a winner promo. That's how you know I'm a winner, because it's got the logo. No other card has that, you know? No other cards. This is an alternate art as well. This is an alternate art winner promo. Doesn't have the tag. Don't you think that's cool? I think it's a really cute card. It's also worth like 50 quid. Why is a card worth £50? I don't know. Cheers for that's little Harrow. That's not Flubber. So the original card, I'll show you. Would you reckon they're the starter decks of the mini? Yeah, man, they're really good. I did a video about them. But yeah, the starter decks are they're really good. So like, let me just go to oh, I don't have all the alternate arts on this one. That's annoying. That's the original card that comes in a starter pack. You know. This one doesn't have the alternate arts. Does Eggman have it? Deck builder. Gundam. Does it not have it? It doesn't. It only has like the original one. Oh, this is the one. Wait, I found it. Also card game over shoulder. So this is the original. I realised I was all on screen. I'm an idiot. This is the original one from the starter deck. This is the participation promo. And then this is the winner promo. Look at that full art compared. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Look at that. You don't get that unless you're a winner. You don't get that logo and full art promo unless you're a winner like me. This is participation. This is winner promo. Hell yeah, dude. Don't you think that's sick? They were going to minigame when it releases. We're going to get the buy star dates, but they were out of stock for ages. Yeah, they've been pretty popular, but they're like mostly in stock these days now. They're pretty readily available. So yeah, how much is this one? They don't even have any. That's how rare it is. £10 for the participation one. Let's go to sold. Sold, baby. £40? 40 quid for one card? Holy shit, dude. I'm on a gold mine. For winning £36. Let's put UK only. 37? That's the participation. There's not even that. There's only been one sold. These are all participation, not real alts. Not the winner promo like this. This is the only one that's sold. He got best offer on it. Holy shit. I'm in a fucking gold mine. I'm on a fucking, I'm gonna get that graded. I'm gonna get PSA 10. Holy shit. Are lots of miniatures back in stock? Yeah, are they also gone? Yeah, they're back in stock mostly now. Like my local has them in. Outpost should have them in eventually, but my local has them in definitely. Chat, I'm on it. I'm going to get PSA 10. Just you watch. Anyway, so yeah, next Friday, I'm opening boxes. Whoa, Ty! Ty, thank you for the 5 gifted, dude. Holy shit. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Ty. What an absolute legend, dude. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. It means the world. It means the world to me. Thank you. I was just getting donations from Snowflakes complaining about the woke mind virus infecting space marines. So thank you. I had to get rid of him. I had time to shut up. Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. But what was I saying? Yeah, next Friday I'm going to be opening Gundam packs on stream. I'm going after the chase cards. But I'm going to have it where if I have a donation goal and if I hit the goal, I cut the next pack in half before I open it. And then I open it like with the pack cut in half. Because there's a card I really want and I thought it'd be funny. I thought it'd be funny to open it, but then you can cut the next pack open. You know? Don't you think that'd be cool? Watching me suffer, being like, oh, this could be £1,000 card. And then I cut it open. You really just hoping Papaya isn't around that day. Why can't you watch? You're really hoping Papaya isn't around that? Well, I mean, he won't do that. He doesn't hate me like that. But I know people in chat hate me, so you can collectively hate me together. I'll do a counter like every 10 or something. Every 10 members, I cut the next pack. I was thinking 5, but I was like, nah. If it's 5, people will throw money at me. If it's 10, people consider it first. They'll consider it first. But I need to get like a setup. I need to get like a card opening setup with like a little phone camera in front of me. You know, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I need to think about that for next week. So, Anyway, I've rambled enough. Hate your guts, Mikey. I hate you too. Alright, man. I'll be back. Hopefully Friday. I'm not sure if I'm gaming or gaming. I'm trying to play on stream, but everyone's busy, so I might have to just play Dawn of War and then play Iron Hand next week. But appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you on Friday. Catch you later, gamers. Love you all. Bye-bye for now. Bye. Bye-bye.